We're back, guys. What's up?
That probably just bled some ears right there. Episode 11.
Episode 11. That is now the second number into the double digits.
Yes.
Think about that.
Math that shit.
Think about that shit.
Yeah.
We got to math it. We really do. And figure out how many hours we've been on the air now.
That's like 20-something plus.
And for anybody out there who has been listening to every episode,
you're insane.
You have more problems than we do if you're going to sit here and listen to all this shit. But just right off the bat, I have to get this out. We talked about it. If you've been watching our Adulting is Hard live pregame show, you know exactly what debate we're about to get into.
Raisins.
Fucking
Are
ass. Raisins good?
No.
Yes.
No, they're not.
Yes.
No,
yes,
no,
they fucking are.
No.
Dude, I am not going to budge on this.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Raisins are good. Okay.
Ready?
Let me name off all the good shit that raisins go into.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like one thing.
Oatmeal cookies.
Are trash.
Raisin Bran.
No, trash.
No, fuck you.
It just makes you shit. Who cares?
Yeah, well, it's full of fiber.
Yes.
It's good for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
what else?
It doesn't matter.
No. Raisins are the corpses
cinnamon
of
bread.
grapes. That's it. They're dead grapes. Grapes are yummy and delicious.
Corpses.
Raisins are dead.
They're corpses.
They're corpses of
So
it.
what? Do you like grapes?
Yes.
So what's wrong with the fucking raisins? It's the
That's
exact
right.
same thing.
No, it's not. They're shriveled up and they taste like ass.
You're wrong.
And then in cookies,
You're wrong.
You know what? My biggest fear is when people go, "Oh, I made cookies," and you look at them, it looks like it might be oatmeal and chocolate chip, and then you grab one and it's oatmeal and raisin.
Well, oatmeal and chocolate chip or cowboy cookies.
Yes,
which
but
are fucking bomb anyway.
And then people put raisins in like Thanksgiving stuffing. That should be illegal. Okay,
So-
that should be illegal.
Just a shout out real quick. I do
Yes.
want to shout out to anonymous_Nate. It is Nate. He is on Twitch. He is an awesome guy. Unfortunately, he is going to school. He's only 18.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's only 18. He's a cool fucking dude.
Yeah.
So I went on Twitch and I was bored one night and I went on Twitch and I
Done
searched
masturbating.
Well, I already done it 3 times, so you can't do it a 4th time. It's nearly impossible. I'm telling you what.
Beat it like it owes you money, dude.
However, so I went on Twitch and I wanted to play some Jackbox games because Jackbox games are awesome.
Yep.
And so I went down the list and I found Anonymous Nate because he only had like 9 viewers or something. So I jumped in the thing. Everybody in Nate's stream is awesome. I'm just going to say that right off the bat.
Wolf is one of them.
Joe is hilarious.
Yes.
Nate is a great dude. I mean, he's a great dude. And I'm sorry that you got to go back to college and you had to put your Twitch on hold, which is a real bummer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
is that what he has to do?
unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunately, yeah.
All
And
right.
I missed his last stream, which is kind of a bummer to me. Anyway, we were playing one of the Jackbox games a couple weeks ago, or maybe only a week ago. I'm not sure. And one of the games, it had said that raisins are delicious, and then you had to rate it from like strongly disagree, slightly disagree, slightly
like
agree.
a psyche eval.
Yeah, it was one of those.
I would put it
strongly,
negative 10.
agree,
Oh,
and
of
the
course
other
you
two
would.
people, because we were playing push the button on Jackbox.
Yes.
And the other 2 people put strongly disagree. And everybody sussed me and said I was the fucking alien because I said strongly agree.
Yeah, you should
I
be.
love fucking raisins.
They're gross.
That's the thing.
They're gross.
So I got into this with Wolfie. Shout out to Wolfie. You are awesome. And I love talking with you, Wolfie. And I hope to see you again on Twitch. But we got into this whole thing on Twitch about how good are raisins. She hates raisins.
Thank you.
She hates
I like you, Wolfie, just because of that.
No.
They're trash.
No, fuck that.
They're gross.
Raisins are delicious.
They're gross.
No.
Old people give them out
No.
for Halloween
oh my
treats.
God, it doesn't
that tells
fucking
you right there.
matter.
Yes, no, it does.
No.
If I'm getting Twix from the neighbors next door
So you're
and then I get
saying-
raisins from this fucking old lady,
So
those
you're
are
saying
gross.
like Raisinets from like
Gross.
a box of candy? No,
fucks up
fuck
chocolate.
you.
Fucks up chocolate.
Okay,
and I got
so-
somebody on this show that agrees with me later on. He agrees that raisins fuck chocolate up.
You know what? You're gonna spoil shit, and
I'm not spoiling anything.
I don't like you for that.
Listen to the show.
I already don't like
Just
you.
listen.
I already don't
Just
like
listen.
you. I don't like you.
Whispering doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it does.
All the
It means I'm
haters,
super
all the
cereal.
haters. If you like raisins, I don't give a shit.
I love
you
raisins.
might as well
I'm
eat-
a hater then.
Might as well eat prunes just because you
fucking-
can't poop.
Well, no, those are 2 different things.
No, they're not. They're shriveled
no.
up and they're nasty.
No.
they're in the same category.
Yeah, I mean the same category as dates, and dates are delicious too.
It
By
depends.
the way,
It depends.
no, okay.
It depends.
So I used to work as a chef, And what we would
Okay,
use
wait, hold on.
sous chef. Sorry.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry,
Quote
I don't
unquote
want to get all
chef.
on
Okay,
you.
listen here, Gordon Ramsay. Okay, I'm gonna put this in perspective right now. You used to make.
Here we go.
You used to take the frozen
Here
bags
we go.
of clam chowder and heat them up in a pot, dude.
Are you done?
No, and then
you
you would
done?
fry up
No,
some
okay, go
like
on.
chicken wings and stuff like
Go
that.
on.
So sous chef, which means
Second in command.
no of a
Yes,
kitchen.
it is. Yes, it is.
I don't care what they
have
think
the
it says. I'm
executive
going
and
to
then
talk
you have
about
the
where
sous.
you're at. You worked at a bowling alley.
Not shoe, like what you wear on
No,
your feet.
sous.
But sous.
You
S-O-U-S.
worked at a bowling alley, bro.
No, that's where I was bartending, you dumbass.
Oh, either way.
I was a chef back in Denver.
Okay.
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 But anyway, we used to cut open the date. You slice them in half, take the
Yes.
the center out.
Dates are bomb.
You put blue cheese in the middle, and then you wrap it in prosciutto.
Yes.
It's amazing.
You know why they're bomb?
It's the same goddamn
No.
concept as raisins. Yes,
Nope.
they are.
Nope.
Raisins, you could dip in chocolate, you could dip in yogurt, and they're awesome.
And they just give you the shits like Taco Bell.
It doesn't matter. You still eat Taco Bell, don't you?
I do. You know why?
where's
Because
your
Taco
argument?
Bell is bomb. Okay? Taco Bell, if you want to sponsor this, I'm down. Okay? Even if it does give me explosive diarrhea. Okay? I don't give a shit.
Sunmade, if you want to sponsor us, I will eat raisins on the show.
Nobody's
I
going to
love
sponsor this
raisins.
show.
My
Anybody's,
mom used to put those little boxes, the red
oh,
boxes.
did you
and
say
it's
your
got
mom?
Yeah,
Hold
my
on,
mom.
let me call her. I got it right here on the phone. Hold on.
No, we don't do mom jokes.
Oh,
We
my
don't do
bad.
mom jokes.
My bad. I
Yeah,
wasn't doing a
fuck off
mom
with that.
joke. I was just going to call her.
No, you shouldn't. My mom used to put in my lunch when I was a kid. Those little red boxes that were the Sun-Made, and they were
Yes.
the little raisins. My mom used to put those in my lunch.
It's because she
And
hated
that's why.
you.
No, it's because she loved me. And
No.
real people eat raisins.
No, they don't.
Yes.
People email us if you eat raisins or not, or if you think they're
We
trash.
want to know where you fall in this debate.
I mean, this
because
is-
I am strongly in favor of raisins. You are strongly in favor of no raisins.
No, they're as bad
existing.
as pineapple.
Oh, but
I
don't
hate-
get me started.
There
on
are two things I
pineapple.
will not eat in this world. And if you look at me, I'm 6'1", 260 pounds. I will eat anything. I don't give a shit. Except for raisins and pineapple.
That's because you're a bitch, dog.
No, because both of those are trash. Okay?
You're trash.
No, they're
fuck
trash.
you. No,
No.
I will not let you talk bad about pineapple and raisins.
Have you ever
I will
gone-
put those together in a salad and eat them.
Oh, that's so
fuck
gross.
you.
That's so gross. That's so gross.
I don't care.
Have you ever gone to a Thanksgiving dinner and then you go to eat the stuffing and it has raisins in it?
Yeah, they're delicious.
No, it's fucking terrible.
Raisins go with
no,
everything.
That should be against the
Oh
law.
my
That should be
God.
against the law.
I'm about to
No.
fucking jump across this.
Stovetop stuffing does not include raisins. Okay?
We never fight, but I will fucking
I will
fight you,
fight you over this. That's it.
Tooth and nail
Fight's
over
on.
this shit.
Fight's
Oh,
on.
okay, it's on. It's on. Stay across. Social distance. We're gonna fight from 6 feet apart.
I'm going to cough.
I'm gonna use my mind, use my mental powers,
telepathy?
and get you.
Raisins are trash. I win.
But anyway, guys, after all that shit, welcome back to the Adulting
Yeah.
is Hard podcast, the Ken and
Episode
Kyle
11.
show, episode 11. My
Yeah,
name is
shit.
Kyle. That is that motherfucker who doesn't like raisins over there, Ken.
Same.
So
Still Ken.
if you like Kyle, let me know that you like raisins. And by the way, if you like raisins, you got a better shot of winning the epic giveaway.
Oh, that's
Just gonna
illegal.
say that. Just
I think
gonna
that's illegal.
No, it's not.
I think that's illegal.
And Ken over there,
If you hate raisins,
if you hate raisins, you have
two
basically
times. You have two times the chance
you have
to
no
win.
shot of winning it.
Oh, you have 2 times.
So anyway, getting into that,
I'll
speaking
put your
of,
name in double.
we haven't announced this. We announced it. We talked a little bit about it on the Adulting is Hard live pregame show, but we have a merchandise line coming out
Yes.
for you guys. It's gonna be
Yes.
sweatshirts, t-shirts, stickers,
Coffee mugs. Fuck
coffee
everything,
mugs.
dude. All the way
Yeah.
across, bro.
We're some badass shit. We're gonna be rocking it, so
Mm-hmm.
we hope you are too. Stick by. We haven't officially confirmed. Well, we've confirmed that it's happened yet, but it's not
We need
official
the
yet.
link.
It's not live.
We need the link, which we'll get.
Right. And so if you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, we will have that link up in the next couple of days. We are working with a merchandiser to develop all this shit.
Yep.
So we'll have the
Made
link
to
up there
order straight
real
up.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
for
believe
the
free
first-
shipping. I believe free shipping. We're trying to
think so,
confirm
yeah.
that. And I'm hoping free shipping.
Free shipping.
Yep.
And if you use the promo code adulting, you get 10% off
I
your
believe so
first
too.
order.
Yes. Yes.
So boom, make sure you go over there. Again, we will drop that link as soon as we have it for you guys. We're super excited about it.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome. There will also be the link on our website. If you go to our website, www.adultingproductions.com, you will have the merchandise link there too. The other super exciting thing that we got is we finally got our new logo. So if you haven't been on Facebook or Twitter yet, everything's being updated to our new business logo. So unfortunately, the skeleton in the suit that we had that we loved
was copyrighted.
It might have been a little copyrighted.
Yes.
So we paid a guy to come up with a new logo for us. It's similar, but it's also a modern take on it.
And it's original.
It is.
And we have our banner
awesome.
on side of the building now. We've got the sign in the yard.
Yep, we got new business cards. It's going to be, and so the new logo is going to be on the merchandise.
Yes.
Too. It's not going to be the old one. So unfortunately, we had to move on from that old one, and we're moving into the new one. But if you go and check us out, you will see the new one. The new one's awesome.
My favorite's going to be.
I like it more.
My
than
favorite's
going to
be the adulting is hard stickers for the car.
Yes.
Just saying
the bumper
adulting is
sticker?
hard.
Oh.
I mean, because that statement alone right there says 1,000 things.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's funny too, because when we went to go get the signs made, the guy asked me, "Is this a porn development studio?"
I can see that.
No,
but the thing is
quite.
it's not. It's not yet.
I wish.
It's
I'm not that popular. I'm not that popular.
Yeah, right? Nobody wants to see this shit naked.
Yeah, exactly. But so we're really excited to bring that new logo and that new signage out for you guys. It's going to be on the business cards and blah, 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 so on and so forth.
Yes.
The next thing on the agenda that we have to announce to you guys is that we have another epic giveaway for you guys. It's going to include kind of the same way that we were going earlier, but it's going to include more of our merchandise because we had just such a huge feedback and so much love from our community and support for our channel that we're going to offer even more for
our
epic
financial
giveaway.
advisor hates us because this is shooting the budget.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, our budget is not much.
I'm literally living on ramen and fucking white bread right now. So,
I'm living
but
on
this
outdated
is all
steaks.
worth it because we're bringing this shit to you guys.
When they price mark meat down because it's going out of date. Folks, I'm eating
Manager
outdated
special.
steaks so that you can have some premier merch. Okay?
Exactly.
And it's okay. I'm fine with it.
So we are doing almost an identical giveaway to the last one, except for this one, you have to be a subscriber to YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter to be able to win this.
Yes.
So right now, if you go over to YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook and you subscribe, like, and share, you will be entered automatically to win that merchandising. It will be $0 for shipping for you. We will send it directly to you wherever you want it to go in the world.
Oh, wow. In the world.
Maybe not like Iran or China. Cause,
No. I mean, we go overseas like that.
I
We
don't
might
really
charge
care.
you a buck.
I don't really care about offending them.
And we'll even sign it. How about we sign it? Should we do that? Should we sign it? Or
want
does
to.
that, or
I
does that
think
just
that
make it
would ruin it.
worthless? Does that make it worthless? If we put our names on it, it just makes it worthless, right?
It's something like that.
Everyone's like, nice sweater, except for those two douchebag signatures on the bottom.
So anyway, enter, guys. Enter, because we want to give you out this shit. We're so excited to bring you all this new stuff. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share our content, and you will automatically be picked. Or you will automatically be entered,
not picked.
to win.
See, no,
and you
okay.
have to listen to episode 12 to be able to win it, because that's when we are going to announce
Our legal
the
department's
winner.
going nuts already.
And speaking of, we did announce the winner on the live pre-game show, but we will announce it again. So the winner of the first epic giveaway was Alex Vasquez from Bakersfield, California. So Alex, if you are listening, get a hold of us so we can so we know where to send it.
Yeah, we got to ship it somewhere.
We appreciate you for you subscribing and liking and sharing all of our content. You did it on all of our platforms. We're super stoked about that.
Yep.
That's awesome of you. Thank you so much. So get a hold of us, and we will send you out all that merchandise.
Outstanding.
And I think the last touch that we got to hit here is I know a lot of you people don't live around here, but for anybody who's listening in the immediate Idaho area, I guess, in October, we are going to be doing the
a trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat. That's
Trunk or
what
treat.
it is.
We don't have the exact details, but we are going to be representing the Adulting is Hard podcast.
Yes. So we are going to be giving
out candy.
Candy to all the kids. We'll have everything decorated and all themed out. I think we were talking because I have a blue Subaru.
Yes,
I think we were talking about doing the Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster theme.
But we're gonna dress in suits and also wear skeleton masks or something like that to represent our logo. We're gonna look like our logo. But at that event, if you want to come by, if you can come by, it's gonna be a little booth. You can win prizes. You can be entered into our epic giveaway. Because we're going to be trying to have an epic giveaway at least a month, every month.
Yeah, once a month.
Or every other month, something like that. We're going to give away a lot of stuff. So if you come on by, you can get a raffle by just showing up and signing up for our newsletter.
Yep.
Which we have coming. So I kind of just let the cat out of the bag on that one.
Well,
but we do have a newsletter coming.
Yeah, well, it'll be at the same time as a flyer.
But it's a comedy newsletter. It's a comedy newsletter.
It'll be the same thing. We're not going to do a newsletter because...
You sign up, you get a free raffle.
Yes.
If you spin, and there's going to be a prize wheel that you win prizes and extra candy with that, or you can win extra raffle tickets into the epic giveaway.
And one thing we are going to try and do is set up so that you can do shout-outs.
Yes. So that's the other thing. That's what I was getting to.
Thing.
Guy who doesn't like raisins.
Oh, raisins.
Ugh.
Trash.
But yeah, as you were touching on, we are going to be doing live shout outs. At this booth, you will have a chance to win a live shout out on the podcast episode, which is going to be epic. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Birthday shout outs, whatever.
I think on the wheel we should add
even if you want to call so-and-so a dickhead, we'll let you do that one.
You will get a couple of seconds on our episode that we're going to splice all together, and it'll be on our commercial break where you get to either shout out somebody. You get to say really whatever you want as long as it's not racist, homophobic, fucking
as long as it doesn't get us
religious,
banned.
whatever.
If you're going to get us banned,
as long as it's not bad shit. But if you want to say, fuck you, Ken, you're a piece of shit, raisins are awesome, I am all for that. I will put that on the episode. You will be number one.
I will throw punch you.
No, you won't.
Because if you like raisins like that, you're a commie.
Well, fuck you.
And I don't put up with commies.
I don't agree with you.
I agree.
I don't
agree with you. I agree with myself.
But anyway, guys, if you are looking for more information, get a hold of us. We can give that to you if you are local. We're really excited to bring that. Big Dog Marsh, who was on one of our episodes. I can't remember what it was. Like back at 4 or 6 or something like that. He was on our episode. He's going to be there. He's kind of hosting the whole thing.
Yes.
And he's actually going to be on the air giving away or announcing the winner to our epic giveaway.
Yes.
So you guys are going to want to follow up on that and try to get into that. Again, you're automatically entered if you like, share, and subscribe to our content. That simple. 3 clicks.
Easy.
Three clicks, and you're entered into
it's easy.
I don't know. It's got to be at least $100
and you win stuff that people are going to be like, oh, damn, you got that right there. Yeah, see, it's for that shit right there, dude. It's not even about the kicks.
Hey,
it's about
girl, hey. You know you're going to get that shit out.
You might even get a date out of it.
Anyway, guys, so for the rest of this episode, we got some cool shit coming on for you. We got
cool interviews and stuff.
Yeah, we got Ralph Jones, who is a comedian. He's an author. He's a writer. He's a producer.
A director.
And he's a journalist. He's interviewed a bunch of different people, a lot of famous people, more famous than anybody.
Much more famous than us.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll be on that list. Eventually, he'll be like, oh, my God, those guys, I got them when they were like small time.
Oh, yeah, when we go big time?
Yeah, when we go big time, we'll be like, oh, shit.
I'm still preparing for the fame. I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
Fuck around and find out. That's all I got to say.
Fuck around and find out.
So we're going to have him on a little bit later. And then after that, we got an investigative journalist from Buzzfeed named Albert. I don't want to butcher this.
I don't want to butcher his name,
but I believe it's Samaha. Samaha. Look him up. He's a cool dude. He's done a lot of articles. So we're going to be sitting down with him and having a little chat. So you're not going to want to miss that. But anyway, guys, we're going to take a little break, and we will be right back with that Ralph Jones interview. You're not going to want to miss it. That is where we will introduce you to the dildo throne, which is kind of epic.
That's amazing.
It was a trending hashtag for a while on Twitter, and the dude is awesome. I got to say, Ralph, if you are listening, that was an epic interview. Thank you so much for granting us that. And thank you so much, Albert, for granting us that interview. You guys are both awesome. We were very excited and humbled to have you on our episode because you're big time and we're small shrimp in a big sea. So anyway, guys, stick by. We're going to go on a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
Has the COVID-19 pandemic had an adverse impact on your business?
Are you ready to see customers walk back through your doors?
Here at Adulting It's Hard Productions, we understand that times are tough, and you may be struggling to keep your business afloat, and that's where we come in.
For a limited time, we are offering production services at an exceptionally discounted price. Go to www.adultingproductions.com to learn about our services and how we can help boost your brand and rebuild your client base.
Using our state-of-the-art equipment and software, we tailor your company's message and your advertising package to meet your needs. We handle the entire process from production to airing with absolute transparency.
Contact us today for your free no-obligation consultation and see why so many others have turned to Adulting is Hard Productions for their advertising needs. Simply go to www.adultingproductions.com and get your business back on track today.
Adulting is hard, and we're here to make it a little easier. And with us, possibilities are endless.
All right, guys, welcome back from the break.
Welcome back.
I can't stop thinking about it.
About raisins?
Raisins.
Are you obsessed?
Dude, you were so wrong on the raisins front.
They're gross.
No, they're
They're
not.
gross. I'm going to say they're
No,
corpses of grapes. They're dead, and they're nasty.
Well, you know what? We have somebody awesome on the line. We're going to ask him about this too and see what side of the argument he lands on. But
Mine.
on the line right now, we got Ralph Jones. He is a famous comedian and he's a sketch artist. He does interviews with famous people,
Producer,
way more famous than
director.
us.
He
He
does it
all
all.
this stuff. So, welcome to the show, Ralph. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much. What an introduction. Wow.
Yeah.
It's all about that clout.
But anyway, Ralph, can you explain to our listeners a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got started into it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the corpses of grapes is a fantastic line. I'm privileged to have heard that. That was wonderful. Yeah, I am. Well, certainly it's very generous of you to call me a famous comedian. I'm not sure I've ever been described in that way before. But I am a writer, so I focus mainly on journalism, but I also do a hell of a lot of comedy writing as well. So I've written for places like the New Yorker and Wired. Recently, I got my first thing in Wired. I've done a lot for the Guardian and Esquire and GQ and places like that. And yeah, so that's journalistically, and then comedy-wise, I'm in a double act with fantastic actor and writer called Vivian Armand, who's got a wonderful name, Vivian Armand.
Mhm.
And he and I have been performing for a while, which is basically sketch stuff. So short sketches, but we've also done like hour-long shows, which are kind of more a bit more story-driven. And that's largely losing money. It doesn't really make us much money at all, but there are bits and pieces there that we do get a bit of money from. But my living is mainly journalism, and then I kind of do my fun comedy projects on the side. Another one of which is improv. So I also produce and occasionally perform in a murder mystery improv show called Criminal, which has
Nice.
featured a lot of relatively well-known British improvisers. I'm trying to think if we've had anyone. I'm not sure if we've had any Americans on yet, but I've certainly tried to get people like Jason Mantzoukas when he's been over in London, and I haven't yet managed it. I'm trying to remember now if I've had. I don't think we've had any Americans that I can remember off the top of my head, but we've had well-known comedians like Josie Lawrence, who was on Whose Line Is It Anyway, which I think
Great show.
It's kind of known in the US as well. So yeah, and then I've got this dream that we might go across the pond and make it big in America as well, because
There you go.
apparently improv is quite different in America. I think. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Comedy Bang Bang. I don't know if you hear.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. Yeah.
So it's a wonderful podcast which allows its guests to just come in and play improvised characters, and it's I would thoroughly recommend it. It's absolutely wonderful. But the style of improv in America is, I think, a little bit different. So if we took this show over to America, then I think it would stand out, for being different in style. It's kind of quite narrative, and it's a murder mystery, and yeah, it would that's my dream anyway, to kind of conquer America.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And
yeah.
you know, if you do need that extra person, Ken's willing to drop his line and do it for free.
Yeah,
You need
yeah.
that extra
I work for free. I'm cheap.
Actually, he will pay you.
I'll pay you a fee. For letting
That
me-
works. That works for me. We did have a big bust up with a guy who complained afterwards that he didn't get paid enough for the show, and you know, it's hard enough to pay people at all because you've got so many performers on stage. You've got to divide the money up, and the venue that we use takes 50% of the money. And so we just lost this guy. He's never coming back because he sent me a text at about 3 a.m. just saying, "You've paid me £17 and we were on stage for the whole evening." So that was tricky because in comedy, obviously, like there's not a huge amount of money in it when you're doing it at this level. So when I give people £17, I'm kind of like, that's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and isn't there a grind involved? I mean, you put the grind in, you put the time, you get on stage, and then if you catch a sitcom, a show, or some other medium, that's what you put the work in for, right?
Yeah, well, quite. Yeah, I mean, I think this guy is, you know, if you're like me and relatively young, and at the start of your career, any money is good money. To put it as generously as I can, this guy is kind of, you know, at the tail end of his career. So in other words, he's making good money. So when he does a show, you know, for £17 for him, that's no money at all. So I think it depends on your level of experience. But yeah, that's one of the awkward things about being a producer of a show is you have to deal with things like
Paying
that.
people.
Yeah.
Paying people.
£17, you can get a case of beer
logistics.
for that, though, right? I mean, I would work for that.
It's not bad, is it? Yeah, it's not bad.
You know, but with
You
the
can
whole
get like 10,000 raisins with that, I imagine.
Oh, God. Just a
That's
field
right up
of
my alley.
corpses.
Yes. you know, just real quick, let's just ask you about that. How do you feel about raisins? Because we need to settle this argument.
Yeah, sure. Well, raisins. I think raisins are kind of, in my eyes, they don't do anyone any good, really.
Thank you.
I mean, they're not.
Thank you.
They're not particularly tasty, and they're not particularly filling. So I don't think that I never really come away from a raisin sort of happier than I arrived. So
It's a snack. It's a treat that old people give out on Halloween. So nobody likes them. That's
But
why.
if you ever had one covered in yogurt or chocolate, they're awesome.
Just you can't
Well,
kill it. You can't get rid of the flavor of the corpse, dude. Just tell you.
yeah, it ruins chocolate if you put a raisin in chocolate.
Thank you. Thank you. I like this guy even more now. See, he knows chocolate covered
Well,
raisinets.
thank you so much for joining us today, Ralph. We gotta go.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Technical difficulties. Hello.
Beep boop boop. You know, but anyway, Ralph. So, how did you get into the whole comedy world? Like, what was your start in it?
So it's I think it's kind of relatively similar to the way it carried on for many years, which was that I just wrote a show, a sketch show when I was 14, really sort of weirdly young. I kind of knew that was what I wanted to be doing. And then there was a theatre in Oxford, which is where I'm from, in England, and they were amazingly generous, just incredibly trusting to say, yep, we're going to let this 14-year-old kid and his friends just come in and perform a show for 2 nights. Tiny theatre, 50 people, but you know, it's 50 people at that stage is like an enormous stadium to us. And we did it for 2 nights. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, I think. And I learned that I just loved writing. I loved performing. So for a while I just did that. I wrote an entire show and then got my friends together and performed it, occasionally for charity at school, and then we would kind of do it out of school as well. And that just sort of snowballed into university when I discovered the Comedy Society, and we did shows there. So I think, yeah, that was the genesis of it. That was it. It was kind of realizing that you could just, if you wanted to, start your own show if you had the drive to do that. And I think really that theatre manager was the one, like that's the guy who's most responsible for me kind of dicking about on stage doing comedy, because he was amazingly trusting to just say, yeah, do it. Why not?
Yeah,
And
to
it was
a 14-year-old, that's kind of unprecedented.
He's taking a chance on something. He saw something there,
yeah,
and it worked out.
And as we've discussed, it's kind of, it's certainly by no means easy to make money from it. But I think if it's what you want to do, then you're going to do it regardless. So I do it all the time in my, in my spare time, and occasionally it makes me a bit of money. And I have, meetings with TV producers and stuff, which are, it takes a while to get anywhere. But essentially, like, if that that's what you want to do, then you just spend your time doing it, whether you're making a living from it or whether you're doing it in your spare time. So it's largely a spare time thing for me, but I obviously write funny stuff. I kind of get I get paid to write funny stuff in other media, I suppose. So yeah, whenever I write a piece that's journalistic, I often try to be as funny as possible as well with it.
All right.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that. So you've said that you've been you write for many different newspapers and magazines over the span of your
Some
career.
top-notch ones. I mean,
You've interviewed big Hollywood elites and lots of famous people and such like that. How does that connect back to your comedy? How did you go from being the comedian to being the interviewer and the journalist?
Well, I mean, what happened for me was, for a long time, I just didn't really think I could make a living from writing at all. I didn't really think it was an option. So when I was working in a completely unrelated job, I was set to go for a teaching qualification and just do teaching as a way of making money. And then in the UK, there's the Edinburgh Fringe in the whole of August. So as a teacher, I mean, this is my motivation to become a teacher. It was that you get the whole of August off. Oh. So I would be able to go, I would essentially be able to go to Edinburgh to do a comedy show with my holiday. That's an insane reason to become a teacher. So I was still
I like it.
I like the benefit.
Yeah. But I think I would have gone mad if I'd become a teacher, because I would have had this ulterior motive. So anyway, teaching didn't happen, but I did start writing things for publications online. And then when one of them did really well, and Darren Brown and Tim Minchin happened to share it, that was a really, really mad morning. I thought, oh, well, maybe I can make a bit of money from this. So that was the kind of catalyst for me starting a magazine journalism qualification. So I spent a year in London, learning how to become a journalist, basically. But I knew that I wasn't good at news journalism. In other words, very serious, what I would describe as proper journalism.
Okay.
I kind of knew that I knew that I wanted to do the writing, the writing side of it much more than the actual breaking news. And I would love to write, features, profiles of people, interesting investigations into things. So I'm not a proper journalist at all, but I kind of use my skills as best I can. So off the back of the qualification, I just got one writing job for a website which was kind of like a Buzzfeed style website, which we might come on to later, because that was what got me the dildo throne, which I'm kind of.
We're waiting for that one.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
That's the only reason I'm here. Yeah. But that job then got very difficult to maintain. It was not particularly good job, not very well paid, and I didn't do much writing. It was more kind of like listicles, like BuzzFeed, sort of 21 things you'll know if you are a 80s kid or whatever.
I got you.
So somehow I then got an interview for a position at Shortlist magazine, which was an amazing men's lifestyle magazine in the UK, and it was free, but it had the biggest circulation of any men's publication in the country. So it was going out to 500,000 people a week, which was massive,
Nice.
So for that reason, because it was huge, we got access to the most amazing people. So I really early on, I was, I was interviewing people like John Cleese and Jonathan Ross, John Hurt, just before he died, actually. So that was mad. That was for our 500th issue or something like that. I think that was the reason I got those. We had those celebrities there. So, you know, all of a sudden I'm in this dream job with a brilliant magazine, and that just spiraled. So I was working there for 3 years, by the end of which I'd interviewed, you know, like for a long time. So I'd spent like, with each of these interviewees, I would spend 45 minutes or an hour. I'd interviewed people like, you know, Jack Black and Paul Rudd, The Rock, who I wrote about. I wrote about every week for a year. That was a particular experiment we did that kind of saw him retweeting a lot of my stuff and mentioning me, which was great. So
great interview. I would love to do any of those.
Yeah, I mean that was I can't really. Now I'm a freelancer because the magazine has now gone under. It doesn't exist anymore. I look back on that and I just think, you know, they were incredible days, because the access we had and the trust the editor had in me to write a cover profile of someone like Jack Black is a huge thing. So yeah, I was amazed and overwhelmed to work in that job. And yeah, and in a way, if you asked me to describe the perfect job, then it would have been that one, really. And then it came to an end almost 2 years ago. So I've been freelancing since then, essentially.
All right.
Well, yeah, you mentioned a lot of names on there that pretty much the entire world is familiar with. Jack Black and Paul Rudd,
the man who never ages.
Ricky Gervais. I saw on your website you did Ricky Gervais, The Rock. All these people. You know, which one though is the one that sticks out in your mind that you'll always remember? That was your favorite.
Yeah. So the one that always springs to mind when I think about that is Patrick Stewart.
Oh no way. Patrick Stewart. Oh.
He really is the kind of holy grail, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
The story there is I was going to LA to write about. Do you know this Amazon show Bosch?
Yes. I watch it.
Yeah. I had no idea about what it was at the time, but I was sent out to write about it, and Amazon were paying for a journalist and myself to go over. And then it was the maddest thing, because as we landed in LA, my editor had WhatsApped me or DM'd me. I can't remember what, but he said, "We've just found out that we have access to Patrick Stewart, and you know he's available in the next like 20. Well, literally in the next kind of like couple of hours. I know you're in LA now. Is there any chance that you can do the interview with him with literally no preparation? I think I had known that it was on the cards and it might happen at some point, but in no way was I thinking that we'd kill two birds with one stone. So I land in LA having had no sleep whatsoever, and all of a sudden I've been offered this interview with Patrick Stewart. So it turns out he lives 10 minutes drive from the hotel that we're going to be staying at. So I asked the Amazon person, is it okay if we take a detour and we when we get to the hotel, we just hop over to see Patrick Stewart. So that's exactly what we did. And on the in the taxi over from the airport to the hotel, I'm furiously trying to scribble down some questions for Patrick Stewart, because I know that I'm going to have about an hour with him and I've got no idea what to ask him. So I'm writing down all these questions and slowly getting more and more travel sick, because I'm looking down at my phone the whole time. So we get to the hotel and I sort of furiously try and kind of unpack and then get back into the taxi to go over to his house. And I becoming increasingly sick, essentially, becoming increasingly unwell. And I take the other journalist with me, because he's basically asked to come along and see inside Patrick Stewart's house. So when we get out of the taxi, he said since then that I looked like the color of like an avocado. I was just green because I was so travel sick and I was running off adrenaline, essentially. And so Patrick Stewart is literally standing at outside his front door, and he says something like, "Are you here for me?" and you can't imagine a more surreal sight. You know,
Yes.
I think he might even have been, you know, kind of in his slippers, possibly. I mean, he was wearing other clothes as well, but
Thankfully, right?
Yeah. So then we spend like an hour literally just in his front room. And he's obviously the most incredible conversationalist. He's able to just come up with these incredible stories, and he's got the most amazing voice. He gives us my friend, he gave a gin and tonic.
You weren't ready for the gin and tonic.
No, I thought it was a bad idea. Might just throw up all over Patrick Stewart's sofa. So it was amazing. It was incredible, and he signed a photo of himself for my mother-in-law, who's a massive Star Trek fan. So that's
awesome.
That was her birthday present, I think.
I mean, if I had to interview like two people at the same time, I think to be the ultimate would be Patrick Stewart and Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah,
because I need either one of them to narrate my amazing life when I'm done.
Yeah.
And so, just real quick, I didn't catch it. What was his address again?
I'm sorry. Because we're going to reach out and see if we can catch him in his slippers.
Out grabbing his newspaper with the coffee. Yeah.
You hear from me? Yeah, sure. Security hasn't arrested me yet, so sure.
Well, when I was back in LA for another, it was to interview Michael Keaton, which again was
Batman.
Jeez, this guy's just killing it.
Yeah. I literally did have nothing else to do when I was in LA apart from interview Michael Keaton. So I went roaming around the Hollywood Hills, which is where Patrick Stewart lives. And I tried to find his address, but because I had no transport and I was just wandering around, and American Rose seemed to go on forever and ever and ever. I just gave up.
You're probably on Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah, Ventura Boulevard that goes for 60, 70 miles.
Longest road.
Yeah. So I couldn't find it, but I did love the idea of me just knocking on his door and saying, it's me.
It's me again.
I'm not sick this time.
I'm here for the gin and tonic.
Is that offer still on the table?
I mean, I interview people with a rec solo cup full of Jack, so I'm classy, okay?
Booze and ranch hat. So, speaking of you being a journalist, you're coming out with a new book, right? Called How to Skim a Stone?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Can you read us a little preview of that and what it's going to be about?
Yeah, of course. So it's very much, it does what it says in the title, I guess. So it's literally a how to skim a stone guide. This is a very strange thing to be saying, but yeah, it's a book that I've written, very, very short book, off the back of a Guardian article that I wrote last year that was me going to the World Stone Skimming Championships in Scotland.
That's so awesome.
That is great.
Which was a dream come true. I think, the person that said yes to that pitch, I owe so much to, clearly. But I went there. It is the most amazing event because you've got people from all over the world coming, skimming stones, trying to skim them as far as possible. That's the aim. Not to. I know in America it's
skipping
mainly,
rocks.
Mainly number of skips that you guys.
Yes. That's our bragging point.
Yeah,
I got 7.
And there's a guy called Kurt Steiner who has the world record, and he's American. He's 88 skips.
Good God. What do you throw, a frisbee at the water? I mean,
somebody take that stone.
He made that stone at home. He shined it. He molded that stone.
But he probably, that's another part of the story, actually, that people do make their own stones. Because they have, there's a whole story here, which is that a guy called Ron Long, a Welsh stone skimmer, who is the most amazing character in the book, I think, 75-year-old guy, has someone make his own stones. So he knows how the science works. He knows what will be best over a body of water, and he has them made to very specific specifications, and they're either spherical or circular, rather, disc shaped, or they're triangular, or they're square, but they're all exactly the same weight, and they're kind of optimized for skimming. So he's got in his garden, he's got a pond that he's made and a platform from which he skims, and he's devoted a lot of his life to skimming stones. And There's no money in it. There's no way that you can make money from it at the moment. He just does it for the love of it, really. So
Sounds like
at the
us.
world,
Yeah, I was like us. I mean,
yeah.
no money in it.
But at the World Stone Skimming Championships, he was there among other people, and I interviewed them, and I just tried to report on what was, to me, a really charming phenomenon. And then, completely unexpectedly, an editor got in touch with me and said, "I noticed you say that you could have written 50,000 words about this, about this championship. How about you write a book?" So, I mean, that's amazing, and that was clearly the best thing that's happened to me recently. And the book is divided up into chapters on like why we love to stone skim, how to do it, and then the maths, the physics behind it. And then it's I think the last chapter is about championships, so kind of how you can enter championships across the world. There is quite a big stone skimming scene in Japan, and obviously Scotland is the home of the World Stone Skimming Championships. So that's one that people have to go to if they want to become a champion. Yeah, so it's very, very short. So it's literally only 6,000 words, this book. It's very, very short, but it is a joy to be seeing it, and it's coming out September 10th.
September 10th.
September
Okay.
10th.
Yeah. And I would say real quick, with the lack of sports in the world right now, that they could have a championship of this and put $100,000 purse up for winnings. They should, because when I first saw the title of this book, I thought it was a metaphor for something. I didn't realize that there was this. I thought it was a metaphor for life. But I think with the lack of sports, me and Kyle watched the cornhole championships, and I don't know if you know what that game is. It's two boards on they had two ramps on the how many 25 feet apart,
like 20
with a hole in it, and you throw beanbags at it, and you try to make it into the hole, and it's called cornhole. Yeah. It's a drinking game. All games are drinking games for us, and so I thought we watched that on ESPN the other day because we have nothing else, and so maybe they should do a world stone skipping or skimming championship. Yeah. I'd watch it.
Well, the thing about that is, it is the most amazing sport to watch, I think, because if you've got a good vantage point and you can see the stone, it's the most beautiful thing because it just glides. Obviously, it just glides forever. And there's videos online of a Japanese guy called Keisuke Hashimoto who is insanely good at it, and he just makes it look so beautiful. So I think there's something in that, and I know there has been coverage of it on TV and stuff, but it's not it's clearly not a fixture of TV. There's one in America, and I can't remember where they host it, but there's quite a sort of prominent one.
One of the Great Lakes, probably. I can see them doing that out there. But you were saying, Kyle?
No, I was saying, but about his book that he was that he's writing is that we were just talking about before this interview when we were at your house, and your son Logan was like, "Oh, that's a book I would love to have. I would bring it to science class. I'd read it on the bus."
Yes.
That's the kind of
thing. He's big
thing.
in engineering and stuff, and when he heard about, he said he would like. So when September 10th, I'll go down. I'll see if there's a copy here on the shelf.
Yeah. Amazon. Look for it on Amazon.
I know that if you order from America, they will get it to you. It will obviously take a little bit of time, but
we all got time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think there's an audience for it. Certainly, I think both from a sort of the perspective of people doing it from childhood, people love to do it as kids, obviously, but then also from a scientific perspective, I think there's a community there. Yeah.
So we have arrived at the question that we have been alluding to all day.
The most impressive thing I've seen lately.
Go ahead. You can ask him. This is your
So the story is, I mean, you have a large dildo throne, okay? And for those listening, imagine Game of Thrones, but no swords, just dildos, okay? And you got a great picture on it. You look extremely ecstatic. You're just sitting there, and you're like, but so how did that come about? And
I think Ken wants one too.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to put in the front yard. Just like, piss my neighbors off. I don't mow my lawn, and I got a dildo thrown out there. I don't care. So go on, tell us about how that came about.
Sure. I love that this is the thing that I'm essentially it's going to be in my obituary when I die. This is the headline, dildo.
Will it be your tombstone, though? Will it be your tombstone? That's what you need.
it'll be at least the first 3 lines of my tombstone. Yeah. So the story is, I mean, I don't have it anymore, I'm afraid, because someone bought it from me. But I'll go on to that, I guess, a bit later. But the story is, when I was working for the website I mentioned earlier, which is kind of like a BuzzFeed style youth website thing, I literally just retweeted a tweet that I'd seen, which said, if you want to win I think it must have just said Game of Thrones dildo throne or something along those lines. Just retweet this to be in with a chance. And the funny thing is, it was the reason I saw the tweet was that a colleague of mine at that website had retweeted it as well. I don't know how he had seen it. Let's not go there. But he had retweeted it, which for me is a fantastic bit of kind of alternate history, because he could have won this dildo throne, and then obviously that would have been a whole different chapter of his life. But a few weeks go by, and obviously I haven't thought about the dildo throne at all, because it was one retweet, and obviously I then went about my day. And then I get a phone call from a guy who says, "Hi, is this Ralph Jones?" Yeah, hello, yeah. He says, "You may remember a few weeks ago you entered a competition to win a dildo throne." And I say, "Yeah."
Well, certainly did.
That sounds like me.
Yep, that's me. And then he said, "Well, you've won. Congratulations." So all of a sudden, I obviously start sort of I burst out laughing, and I just think, so what the hell are we going to do now? Because this thing is about 6 feet tall and like 4 feet wide, so it's not small. It's not small. And I discussed with this guy who's a PR for the company who organising the whole thing. And what the hell are we going to do with it? So my wife says we can't have it in the flat. We are not going to have
not in the living room. It's not happening.
Yeah, we are not going to have an enormous throne.
It's a great conversation piece, though.
It is a talking piece.
It's an icebreaker.
A conversation piece.
Exactly.
We're
Yeah.
inviting the neighbors over. Oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah. If the conversation goes quiet, then you just
go and sit on the throne and just wait for the questions.
Yeah. So that wasn't possible. So then I thought, well, can I sit on it at work? Can I just do my work while sitting on this thing? And that was, that obviously was ridiculous from the start, but it also looked like it was physically going to be a challenge, because the thing is enormous. So it would have just been impossible for people to get around me. I think it would have killed productivity as well. People would have been staring. So what I had to do, and this is where it spirals into this complete farce, basically, is I had to pay to get a garage to store the dildo throne. So already I'm beginning to kind of lose money from this thing, and I was paying.
That's why they get rid of it.
Yeah. So I was paying, I think, £200 a month for this thing to be stored, which is kind of I guess I thought was a lot, but it was manageable because it was clearly going to be a really good story and good for my profile. And then the way we made it into a big story, because obviously it was great for the website I was writing for. It was a perfect piece of content for us. Is that we filmed the throne being delivered, so we filmed it. We unwrapped it and we filmed
the unboxing,
the unboxing, yeah, the uncoxing, and we rolled it up this hill that you had to get to go up in order to get to the garage. We put it in the garage, and then I said to the camera, essentially, if you want to buy this throne, contact me and give me the highest offer. And so then I put it on eBay, and the great thing about putting it on eBay was I had to list it as used. So I couldn't list it as new, because I obviously had owned it prior to selling it. So that was a great little feature, but I think was one of the reasons people didn't put in many offers. And I got an offer of I think it was around £600 from someone who ran a sex sort of exhibition thing. It was like
that's fitting.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an event where people go to different rooms, and there are different attractions, and it's yeah, a big.
I like that
gathering.
word attractions. You used to
Attractions.
describe that.
Quote unquote.
If you've seen the dildo throne, it does not really qualify as an attraction. It was
No,
quite
I saw the picture of it, and I was just like, I thought it was great. And I still think now, with the advent now of having to use Zoom to do business meetings, I think now it would be perfect to have that in your house and sit in that while you're talking to your supervisors.
Yeah.
And having them squinting, looking at the screen going, is that what that is? Is that? Yes, it is. Don't judge me.
Yes, it is. Move on.
Move on.
So yeah, and then around that time, I can't remember when. I think it must have been. Yes, I think it was when I listed it on eBay that the whole thing blew up and became a huge news story, and BuzzFeed covered it, and like, you know, the video had, you know, has like several 100,000 views, but that was all within a couple of days, because it had gone viral. It had kind of gone on every website. I remember someone messaging me. He was in New York, and it was a news story in a newspaper on the subway, and that just seemed to me, you know, that meant more to me than it being on a website, because it was physically reaching the other side of the world.
Yes.
So everyone was talking about it, and that was really weird and fun. But yeah, I sold it for 600, so I made £400 on it, and you know, there was me thinking that I was going to make a sort of fortune, and I was going to be able to quit my job and stuff. But needless to say, it was then the conversation piece in my life for the next 6 months, because it was just the first thing. And I tell you what, another lovely bit of lovely anecdote is that I lived in Cambridge for a few years recently, and I bumped into a guy on the train. I saw him a lot, and we finally decided we'd have a little conversation. So he said, "What do you do? What's your name?" And I obviously gave him all of my details. So he then, without my knowledge, looked me up. And then the next time I saw him, his opening line was, "So tell me about this dildo throne."
Yes, yes.
And I just love that, you know, one of the earliest things you will find about me if you look me up online is the phrase dildo throne. I think that's funny.
I think that's classic. That's great.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's just lucky that I'm not in a normal job, and I guess I'm using it to my advantage now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why we saved it to the very end.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
wanted the opening question.
Yep.
So I just got to get this aired out.
The
you know?
climax.
The climax.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's too much.
Oh,
Anyway, Ralph, thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us. We really appreciate it. Can you tell our listeners where they can find you if they're looking for you?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Thank you very much. Yes, so my website is probably the most useful thing. So that's mrralphjones.co.uk. And yeah, Twitter is also really handy, I guess. And my handle is hi Ralph Jones. So yeah, that's where you can find my articles and any performances that I might be doing and stuff like that. Thanks for having me. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. We enjoyed our time with you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Ralph. And then everybody else, just hang on 1 second. We're going to go to a quick break and we'll be right back. Adulting is hard. We know that this quarantine has not been fun for anyone. We're locked away, everything's closed, and there's nothing to do. By this point, you probably watched every movie in your collection 3 times. Well, I have a solution for you. Head on over to metro-entertainment.com for some real boredom killers. You'll find comic books, toys, games, trading cards, action figures, and a whole lot more. There's something for everyone in the family. Metro is working hard to get you the entertainment you crave, including shipping it anywhere in the U.S. You can also find Metro Entertainment on Facebook, where they have announcements for upcoming games and series. There's nothing like a good comic book to keep you going. Be sure to mention the podcast when ordering. Metro Entertainment, where games meet reality. I wanna kiss you all over
till the night. Did I hit that right?
Wow, what the hell is that?
That was
like you stepped on a rat or something.
I don't know if that was like pre till puberty. Yeah, that's a fucking great scene. Happy Gilmore credit there. That's just such a great scene.
I love it. Well, welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed that interview from Ralph Jones.
Yes.
We thoroughly enjoyed talking with
Consummate professional. The guy was a professional.
Until we got to the dildo throne.
Well, yeah, but how do you not be professional with the
dildo throne?
Yes, hashtag. Look that thing up.
Make sure you guys look that up.
It's fucking impressive.
I swear. As he even said, it is a Twitter hashtag that he even checks on throughout the week just to see how it's doing.
Dude, all I gotta say is that the whole idea that he retweeted something and won it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what do I do with it?
You're like, what the fuck am I going to... Is this costing me more than me winning it?
Or when he said that he thought he was going to get rich off of it, like, I can retire when I sell this thing, but it's a throw of dildos.
What's funny, too, is like after, we closed out the interview, we were talking to him a little bit, and I asked him, how many bare asses do you think have sat on that? Because it's in a sex dungeon now. Like, literally.
It's in what they call quote unquote attractions.
Yeah, it's an attraction.
It's an attraction, which overseas means people putting things in themselves.
Not just overseas. I think that's pretty universal.
Well, yes. Here, people put things in themselves.
But everybody puts things in themselves. Holy shit. So,
well, that went sideways.
Yeah, real quick, we got off the rails.
In today's news.
Oh, speaking of today's news, what did we go do?
Oh, we went shooting. We did the most American thing we could do after interviewing somebody from across the pond
who said he has never fired a gun before.
Nope. And we invited him anytime he wants to come to somewhere in Idaho.
We'll show him.
We will shoot some weapons and blow some shit up.
Yeah,
and we did.
Which is exactly what we did. Yep. And not only that, we documented the whole thing just for you guys.
Yes, because we made sure that we showed you what gun safety was all about.
Yes. So we have our first YouTube Adulting is Hard production, not the podcast, but the production studio presents. And it is it's gun safety. And you're going to want to check that out because Ken gives a lot of good tips.
Oh,
there's 3 tips, and then we put those tips into action. So you're not going to want to miss it. It's only like almost
what I show you
less than a 3-minute video.
I show you how not to shoot yourself in the dick.
Yeah, or,
I mean that's all
stupid
that
shit not to do when you have a gun in your hand.
Exactly.
So that video is now available on YouTube. We also put it on our Facebook and Twitter with the links, so you're gonna want to check that out. It's pretty awesome. We had fun filming it.
Oh, we had a lot of fun.
And just a little side note: it is satire.
Yes,
it is satire for anybody watching that and thinking that we were being serious on any of that shit. It was none of the shit we do is ever serious.
Yes,
so,
I'm a professional, but not.
Yeah.
Okay, so like
literally, those tips are actually real. You don't want to do.
Yeah, don't do what I did.
Yeah. But we were doing it on an open range. There was nobody around. It was just us. So we were being safe. We weren't being stupid. So anybody out there whose name is Karen saying,
"Oh no, look at what they're doing.
Report you, me.
I want to talk to your manager." There is no manager.
Fun. And just another side note on that. We drew faces on watermelons that we made explode with the 270 round.
Oh, big time
one
explosion.
was Hitler and one was Xi Jinping.
Yes.
The communist piece of shit from China, the leader of that, who is repressing his people. Yeah. He is sending people to concentration camps. So I don't feel bad about marking a watermelon as him.
Yeah.
But
and that was my target, right? That was my target.
That was your target.
And
I
one
killed
shot
Hitler.
exploded
You killed
that fucking
Xi
guy's
Jinping.
head. Yeah.
So just anybody out there who is watching that video and be like, "Oh my god, this is racist," blah blah blah. No, those two people are pieces of shit in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
So we're not sorry about that whatsoever.
Not at all.
Go ahead and try to ban us on that. I don't care. I
good
will
luck.
fight it and be like, "Oh, fuck
Good luck
you."
with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't
luck.
care. I shot Hitler.
GG, bro.
I shot Hitler and won World War II for the second time. Yeah, for the second time.
Back-to-back
and
champions.
You ended the humanity crisis over in China by killing Xi Jinping.
Exploded that dude's
anyway,
dome,
yeah. But go watch it. It's actually pretty fun. We put out watermelons
fun.
Yeah, we put out watermelons about 100 yards out, and we shot them, made them. made them blow the fuck up. I mean, they would just straight up exploded.
Our financial department's pissed because we spent $8 on watermelons to blow them up.
Yeah, it was the best $8 ever. I swear to God, it was so worth it.
First of all, HR is already has an ulcer from half the shit we do. Then the financial guy's like, we have no money. Yeah. But here's $8 to go blow up watermelons, right? And then we put the receipts in the box that says not porn, but taxes. They told us no,
and we're like, "Fuck you, we're going to do it anyway."
Yeah, we do it. We do what we want.
Yeah. So
I mean, we're
HR could suck a
grown ass man and do what I want.
Yeah. So and then so we also showed at the end of that what we do to our enemies is we eat their remains, which happened to be the watermelon that was spread all over the dirt. And we still took bites of the watermelon.
And it wasn't bad because I made sure we picked ripe ones, so it wasn't bad. It felt
good for liberating those watermelons.
Yeah. So if at the end, if you're thinking of a good summer snack, watermelons.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were delicious
on sale right now.
But what's crazy is that when those watermelons exploded, it did look like brain matter. It was crazy. It was fucking everywhere. It looked like they fucking exploded from the inside.
Yes.
That's how awesome my rifle is that I bought. By the way, I want to thank Savage for their access that I have with a Bushnell scope on that.
And
it's a 270 round.
Yeah.
Put it out from 100 yards, and that thing just exploded like a dynamite.
It
was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to see the video, it is on YouTube again.
Your scope's a little high and right, but I'll agree.
Well, shit, I hit fucking dead center.
Aiming
dead center.
For my position, a little high and right, but I still put two through
That's because you got the shakes, because you got Alzheimer's. You old ass fuck.
Who am I? What am I doing here?
Oh no, you got the etch-a-sketch kind of going on, like the what was his name? Fucking.
Hey, I put two through the frontal lobe right there.
Yeah,
like
so did I.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
So did I. Aiming dead center.
Nope,
yeah.
Nope.
But you did put one through the axe. I will say that was a great shot.
Through the axe.
No, just one.
Two through the same axe.
Bull fucking shit.
I would say go get the targets.
One of them was still in the red. No, one of them was still in the red.
Okay.
But one of them went directly through the axe. I will say that.
Okay.
It was, you couldn't be any more center than that. It was a great fucking shot.
Thank you.
I will say that.
Suck a fat bag of dicks.
Wow, I just complimented you for a great shot at 100 yards, and you're going to tell me to suck it? Fuck you. Why do I do this? People, please tell me, write me in right now and tell me, why do I do this? I just can't even with you right now.
I can't even.
I just can't even.
But a bottle of Jack later and all the good safety tips.
We are literally a bottle of Jack and one shot in. We have another shot to go, but I think we're going to save it for the next part.
Yes.
Because we got to get through some shit.
Because day
like
drinking
Florida Man,
and shooting firearms is about the most American thing we can do.
I think we should have put that in the video.
Oh, we should have.
Tip number 4, and then we should have shown like a shot of us taking Jack Daniel's pole and then
the next thing we need to do is get some tannerite, get some explosives.
Like Lion or like Tiger King.
Yes. But not as white trash and lame as him.
Oh, you're white trash. Look at that beard.
Only one spot doesn't grow in. Okay.
that's called white trash.
It's coming in.
Sorry to tell you
Captain America beard.
Captain America beard.
Yes.
Take that back.
No.
Take it back.
Oh, no take backs.
It don't matter. Fuck Marvel anyway.
Oh.
We're going there.
Oh, you might upset one of our fans.
Bro. I don't care. You're a Marvel guy. You're a Marvel guy, so you upset the DC guy. Fuck you. I don't care.
I'm going to have kids named after Marvel and DC, so I'm both.
Okay, that's why I respect pain. What?
What? Whisper.
New microphone. Who this?
Whisper.
Who's this? Whisper. You know you're serious.
Does this
Whisper.
stop COVID if I spit on the mic while I'm talking?
No, we're not. Remember, we can't mention COVID because we'll get fucking banned because Karen gets all fucking
real.
pissy.
It exists. Blah blah blah.
No, it does. No, okay, guys. So,
yes,
if you remember, I think we did talk about it on the last episode. Last episode is we got our YouTube video pulled. Yep. Actually, I fought back and we got that video put on. So episode 10 or episode 9. No, it was 9. No, it was 9. It was 9. Okay. Yeah, because it was episode 10 that we were talking about it.
Yes.
It's labeled no coronavirus here. And as I said to the higher ups and the powers that may be at YouTube, that it had nothing to do with the coronavirus.
Yes.
We weren't promulgating fucking conspiracy theories. All I was saying is that I tested negative for the coronavirus. Therefore, there was no coronavirus in our fucking basement. Yes. That's all I said.
And it was the first thing you tested negative for.
We're not talking about that. Don't you say that. Don't you say that. You're giving our viewers the wrong impression there.
It's not a cold sore, it's herbs.
God, I hate you. Why do I do this, guys?
Because for
Please
free.
tell me.
You do it for free.
I do.
We make no money.
Which is even worse.
We make no money.
Not that. We lose money.
We lose money every month that we do this, folks, for you. Okay.
This is for you, man.
This is for you.
I mean, it's our hobby. We have a lot of fun with it, but we do it for you guys.
Because we can do this for free on the phone.
Oh,
we can just talk shit about each other.
We literally do.
We do.
You call me. Well, I'm not going to say it on the podcast, but you call me during certain events, such as last night, and lie to me saying that you're in Boise so you can get me to call you back.
I bet you pulled out, went to the door.
I didn't. I just said we're not going to talk about what fucking happened, and you had to go there.
You was getting near free com, bro.
Chelsea, I'm sorry.
Hey, it's okay.
We weren't talking about that.
You want to know? You've interrupted my sex life. You're a cock blocker.
I am not.
Yes, you are.
That's called having kids.
No, the kids are. The kids are cock blockers by nature.
Yeah.
But you have called before, and I ignore it, and you keep calling, and you want to FaceTime. I'm like, this is the worst time to FaceTime. My titties are hanging out, okay? You don't need to see all this right here, bro.
Oh, I can go on about stories about this, but we're not going to. That is not for the podcast.
That's
listeners.
for the special. That's for the. We should start
no,
charging
that's our
for
personal
premium
membership.
Premium membership, and we'll talk about my titties.
Chat premium, OnlyFans, show you my asshole.
My chocolate starfish.
Yeah. But no, those stories are not for podcast listeners. Sorry, guys. That is between us. That's why we are friends, unfortunately. I still question every day why I'm friends with you. But
and it's probably the medication that keeps me involved in this.
Medication is one of them.
One of them. Yep.
The other thing might be the psychosis.
That's probably the majority of it. Yeah. You may or may not exist. I don't know.
The truth is out there. Anyway, guys, we got our second episode, or our second interview to bring to you. Yep. It is Albert. God, I am going to butcher this, and I am sorry, Albert, so much for this. He will
correct us, I'm sure.
You will correct us. I will ask you. The very first question will be how to pronounce your name.
Yes.
But Albert Samaha.
Yes.
Samaha. It's a difficult name to pronounce, but
and you may have it right.
I'll get it right.
Yet.
I will get it right. I promise you. But anyway, we have him coming up. He is the investigative journalist for Buzzfeed.
Yes.
He's got a lot of great articles out there. We got a good sit down with him to talk about a lot of different things. And, we just, you've listened to all our interviews, so we like to have a little fun.
Our interviews are awesome. The rest of the show may be a dumpster fire going downhill, but the interviews are good, okay?
That's the one thing we have going for it.
We interview some amazing people. That's what
Somehow
counts.
we're able to swindle.
I'm not sure how this happens.
Swindle 2 people every single week to come on and talk with us.
I'm not sure how we do this.
And we get big names, too, which is even crazier.
I know. We've had some amazing people on here to interview.
We're either doing something really right or we're doing something super wrong.
And we haven't figured it out yet because, first of all, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
I think, we should lead that question off. Intro. Who you are, what you do, how you did it, and why are you on this podcast with us?
Because maybe we could do like a what do you call it? Like a breakdown and find out why people say that. Like I had a bunch of free time because of COVID. I was day drinking. Why the fuck not?
I was high on crack.
That could be a valid reason. I was super high on crack, and I was like, fuck it, why not?
But anyway, guys, we got the Albert Samaha. I'm just going to stick with Samaha.
We're going to go with that.
We got the Albert Samaha interview coming right up. Just wait 1 second. We will bring him right on the line.
Hang in there.
All right, guys. As promised, we got Albert Samaha on the line. I said it right that time. I said it right that time. So thank you so much for joining us, Albert. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. For our listeners out there, can you just explain a little of who you are, what you do, and kind of how you got started doing it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a writer, I'm an investigative journalist at Buzzfeed News. So kind of have that dream job of just spending some months on a story, digging in, trying to figure out what to write, and then coming out with these long stories every few times in a year. Yeah, simple as that. Obviously, there's more details, but I pretty much just get paid to write long stories.
All right.
I could do that.
I could do it.
I investigate who stole my Twinkies out of the cupboard. I'm pretty
Might
sure
be
I know
me.
who
That
it
might have
is.
been me.
Pretty sure I know who that is.
That's not a hard case to crack.
I'll need a $50,000 budget and then lots of resources out of that. But anyway, Albert, I wanted to ask you, was investigative journalism something you always wanted to get into? Or is it something that kind of just fell in your lap kind of opportunity wise?
Yeah, it kind of just fell in my lap. I think when I first got into journalism, I first what drew my interest to the job generally was when I was a kid. I was a big sports fan. I read the sports section of the paper. That was the only part. Read Sports Illustrated, all that stuff. And I was really interested in becoming like a feature writer and writing kind of more profile, featurey type stuff. And I actually remember a couple years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, having a conversation with our investigations editor who had asked me, like, would you ever be interested in doing investigative stuff specifically? And I said no. I was like, no, I actually just kind of want to write features. I kind of more into the narrative stuff. And that had always sort of been my focus, just stories that are narrative, that have character, that are kind of based on characters. But I always sort of used investigative tools in my work. I think the term investigative reporter somewhat gets overused. And kind of the way I've seen it is that like a lot of journalists use investigative tactics and tools in their reporting. But to me, what distinguishes an investigative reporter is that the core of the story and the heart of the story is based on like newly revealed information that people don't know, that you sort of have to dig up. Usually it's stuff that people are trying to hide, powerful people are trying to hide. Whereas like a feature story, I think sort of it's more about synthesizing information and presenting it in a beautiful way, in a way that maybe helps people see the world differently. And I think what sort of landed me on more of the investigative track recently was a couple years ago. I wrote a story that was still kind of featurey, but I brought in some investigative elements. It was about this sexual assault that had taken place. These two cops had raped this teenage girl in Brooklyn. And the story was essentially a profile of her. But I had done some digging and found that the laws in New York and in a lot of other places allowed these cops to claim that the sex was consensual, even though she was in their custody, in their police van. Found out that like 35 states in the country allowed this had this loophole for cops to get off in such a case, and six states ended up changing their laws after the story came out. The story really blew up, and that feeling of sort of seeing reporting you do end with something changing really was powerful to me. It made me not take for granted the platform I have as a writer at Buzzfeed, and I started to realize, if I'm going to spend so much time on my work, on these stories, why not sort of put it in a direction that can change things. One of the most frustrating things of this job, one of the most frustrating aspects, is when you spend a lot of time on a story, you think it's going to reveal this huge injustice that's going to change the world, and then when you drop the story, nothing happens, and it's just crickets. So kind of to see something happen and to see something happen with that impact really changed my focus. And after that, I started doing much more investigative stories, and eventually made my way over to the investigations team at BuzzFeed.
Wow, that's powerful. So
it is.
Your article, your story changed the law in 6 different states.
That's right. Yes,
that's impressive.
That is something to behold right there. That's something to be proud of. That law doesn't stink of any kind of corruption or nothing.
Oh,
right?
God, no. It's
that
a
sounds
terrible
pretty
loophole.
straightforward.
That's just, no.
Holy shit. I can't even believe they would have a law like that on the books.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is, like, I'd love to take all the credit for it, but that's the kind of stuff that happens because like 2 million people read the story and they tweet about it and they like send emails to the representatives. Like it's a lot of times these stories are only as powerful as the amount of people that it can reach and the people that actually like build that sort of virality that leads to kind of reach the lawmakers' minds, make them care about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, what you did was a catalyst for change.
Yeah,
and it got people excited about something and interested, upset, pissed off probably, and decided to start writing the representatives. Yeah.
Hope so. I hope
so.
I think that's one of the things I've learned at BuzzFeed is like when I used to write newspapers, in some ways there was a bit of a blissful innocence because you don't really know how many people read your stories. You just sort of write it, assuming that every person who picks up the paper is going to read it all the way through.
Right.
But then, at BuzzFeed, because we're just online, you do see how many people read it. You have the data to know how far people get to it. And it sort of made me think that I had sort of come into the craft all about kind of my relationship to the page and like, let me see, what kind of story I could write, without really thinking much about, is this something that's going to reach a lot of people? Is this something that's really going to outrage people? And I think one of the benefits of journalism on the internet is it kind of creates this urgency where you see the potential you have. And if you write a story that you think is going to blow up and it doesn't blow up, it makes you wonder, like, well, why? Like, what was it about the story that didn't reach people?
Okay.
And I think that story was a good example of I'd kind of been building towards that, where I had sort of been slowly learning over the years, what are the ways that you can, if you're writing an important story, how can you frame it so that it reaches the most people and you're not just sort of shouting into the void?
All right, so it's different than, I guess, what I'm going to call ambush journalism, the old Geraldo Rivera days, where he would just show up at your front door with a microphone and then make an accusation. And that was his way of doing it. And now you have a mass media where you can reach millions of people without that aspect of it. But I still kind of like those sometimes, where News Channel 5 that's on your side, they'll call it, and they go and they show up at a shady car dealership and they just get right in the face, and I'm like,
So stepping from that, that's almost a great discussion too, because you're talking about the platform, is that, social media receives a lot of negative attention, but you also have to take into account how powerful the social media can be, because, had you written this in a newspaper, who knows how far it would have gone. It might not have got to that state level. It would have just stayed local and people talked about it and it dies out in a week. But with social media, you're able to get that out there and it catches like wildfire and it spreads so fast, so far. And you're able to make a bigger impact using social media.
It's two sides to the coin, right? Like, that power can be used for good or evil, right?
Oh yeah.
The
Absolutely.
power is in getting the attention, right? So you can get attention to a story that will change laws. You can also you can spend 1/10 of the amount on a story and do something really clickbaity, or just something just focused on some like specific aggregated outrage. And I think the blessing we've had at BuzzFeed is, you guys mentioned earlier some of the non-news stuff you guys have consumed on BuzzFeed. A lot of that stuff gives us the freedom to not have to worry as much about making a profit every year. We have an entire machine at our company that makes us money and that draws viewers to our site. And unlike a lot of places, we have the freedom to not have to worry about, how much money is this journalism going to make us. We can focus on what sort of impact this journalism have, what sort of brand building can this journalism do for the company, as opposed to just thinking about clicks, about views, about trying to just kind of flood the zone and throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. We can actually just kind of hone our focus and energies on kind of deeper stories that can make an impact.
Yeah, no clickbait titles. You won't believe what happened to number 4.
Yeah.
Those were the worst.
I will say, I think one of the things I really respect about BuzzFeed is that if you want to insult a BuzzFeed writer, accuse them of clickbait. Because because what we do is actually the opposite of clickbait. Right. Because clickbait is about a manipulative title that makes you think you're getting something, you click and you read it, you're getting something else. Yes. But if you look at BuzzFeed titles and you look at like the sort of cliche titles that they've mastered over the years, they're exactly what you get, right? We're like, here's 17, cat videos that make you love Easter or something like that. Like, it's very precise, and you get what you get.
And the best part, it doesn't say start slideshow right when you click on it, because it says that.
It reminds me of that South Park episode where Jimmy is, he's able to determine whether it's an ad or whether it's real news. And he's like, that's an ad. That's news. That's an ad. That's news. That's news. That's news.
But you know what, though, man? When I came up in journalism school, they were teaching us how to do the slideshow. So it seems like that was
God.
They were grooming.
If I'm on my phone, I don't need to go through 34 things to find out what number 1 was on that list, okay?
Right.
So you had mentioned that the rape or whatever you wanted, the sexual assault that had happened to this lady in, where did you say, New York?
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Was it in Brooklyn? So that was your first investigative piece that really got you into investigative journalism. Do you believe that's your most important piece that you've written to date, or do you have another one, or do you have a favorite that you've written that you've thoroughly enjoyed writing? and got a lot out of?
I mean, that's probably my most read story. I think that story is always going to be close to my heart, just because I think that's kind of the one story where when I meet someone that's familiar with BuzzFeed, that's the one they're most likely to associate with me. But if I had to pick kind of just the one that stuck with me the most, it was probably one I did in 2015 about this guy in Georgia named Clarence Harrison. He had spent like 20, 25 years in prison, wrongfully convicted, and then he gets let out in like the mid 2000s, and he gets $1 million in compensation from the state. And to that point of the story, it was kind of well known. He was on CNN. This was at a time when the criminal justice system was like in the midst of reform, and there was a lot of attention on exonerations and wrongful convictions. And but my story was about sort of the other side of the fairy tale, which is that a couple years later, that $1 million was gone. He was broke and he was struggling, and sort of explored a lot of the challenges of people coming out of prison, and just sort of the fact that while there's all this attention on how the system is changing, there's not as much attention on how the people who are kind of going through this are actually living. And I think the reason that story has stuck so close to me is I spent about a week with him. And my favorite kind of part of the job is kind of the on the ground part, where I could just kind of hang out with a character, with someone, just kind of, have dinner with them, hang out with them with their friends, and just observe and just see what their life is like. And the scene that really stuck with me was, we would go to this old this liquor store on his old block, where a lot of his friends just hung out, spent the day. And this liquor store was on the same lot as a laundromat. And the laundromat he owned, when he got this $1 million, one of the things he invested in was this laundromat. It becomes this big community center where he always has people over, has music playing. And over the course of his downward spiral, which had a lot of reasons involved, one of which was he got these get rich quick kind of these
oh yeah,
you ever get these like so people who like get these big cash these big settlements will often get kind of harassed by these loan sharks that will say, hey, we'll give you like all the money now if you give us kind of these payments in the future.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that he went to prison when he was like 18. He didn't really have a lot of financial literacy, never owned a credit card. He ends up essentially, once you do the math, trading about 700 grand for about 200 grand. And that was kind of how he got all the money. So he loses the laundromat, and the laundromat is now vacant. And as we're sitting there, kind of drinking beer, smoking some blacks in the liquor store, him and his friends are just sort of going in a circle, talking about good times and nostalgia. And it was one of those scenes where, as I'm sitting with them, listening to them talk, and they're sort of talking about life and talking about, it was one of those scenes where it was in my head where I'm like, oh man, this is going to be, I better pay attention right now because important things are happening. And this is a scene where we can capture a lot of the kind of wider meaning of the story, right? And I think one of the wider meanings of the story is this idea of how do we grapple as humans with regrets, with mistakes in the past, with roads that end up veering away from what we expected. And seeing them kind of grapple with that in real time, kind of talking about, how is he supposed to bounce back? How are we supposed to think about these memories? Should we not bring them up? Is it going to make them feel bad? And they were just sort of having this conversation and asking themselves these questions. And it eventually got this question about the meaning of life. Is it like, he's a 60-year-old man who doesn't have the money that he thought he would have, doesn't have the businesses he thought he would have. What is he now to do? How can he enjoy life? And what essentially they came down to is, it was that moment. That was what life was had in store for him. Is sitting with his friends, drinking a beer, and kind of enjoying those memories. And it sort of spoke to this sense of what he had lost when he went to prison. Is those are the moments he had lost. And it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about all these other things that the system had taken away from him. It was about kind of the friends and the memories that he wasn't able to make over those years. And I think that was what sort of stuck with me, because it was one of those stories where you come in having a very specific sort of investigative goal, and then coming out of it, you see the world in a totally different way.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that more of a humanistic side of it too now.
Yeah.
Instead of just following the money, saying, here, you just spent half or a quarter of your life or last quarter century in prison. You don't know what a cell phone is. You don't know like all these different things. But here you go, and $1 million. It's like giving a recovering addict a settlement of money. Here you go. Good luck. Okay. And that's great that you saw that side of it though, where like you said, his friends are just like, this is what we do.
Right. And the thing that, that had like clarified my mind was I was really wary of like writing the story and having people read the story and be like, oh, well, he got $1 million. It's his own fault. He should have been more responsible. But one of the things I got from that conversation was, his friends were like, man, you spent 25 years in prison, come out of it at 60 years old, get $1 million. You got you got life to catch up on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you don't know how long you're going to live. You want to enjoy this money as much as you can, make sure everyone around you eats. And if you're surrounded by a lot of people in poverty, that's a lot of money to spend. That's a lot of people to support. And like I was asking him like, what was going through your head as you were selling these annuity payments for the cash immediately? And he's like, what am I going to do with a check 20 years from now? I might not be alive 20 years from now. And it was all about enjoying the moment while he could spend it.
Okay.
And that's what stuck with me.
Nice.
Wow. So, when one of these stories comes along that you decide that, hey, I'm going to write on this, I'm going to investigate into it, I'm going to, put out a piece on this. Can you kind of walk us through like the steps that go into it, like starting from the inception of your idea of what you're going to write and, finishing with the publication of it?
Yeah. A colleague of mine, Heidi Blake, she introduced me to this concept called the monster brain, which is where when you're looking for an investigative story, you pretty much just you pretend that you're a bad guy. And you think, okay, if I'm a bad guy, how can I exploit this particular situation? How can a bad guy make money from this particular situation? What are the vulnerabilities they can exploit? So usually when I'm first digging in, I'll think of that, and I'll usually have topics in mind that I might be interested in, whether it's whether I want to look at a court case, or whether I want to look at some sort of like election fraud, or whether I want to look into some business deal and how workers get treated. It's always starting to think about how could people possibly be exploited in ways that we don't know about yet. Because I think one of the big challenges with investigative journalism is, if you're going to spend a year on something, it really has to be something new and something fresh. And that's hard to do. That's hard to find. So the first step for me will sort of be putting together all these wild hypotheticals in my head of what are the different ways that this story could go, what are the different things I could potentially dig up. And that's sort of the easy part. The hard part's the next step, which is calling 1 million people close to the situation and knowing that like 99% of them aren't going to get back to you or going to hang up on you. But hoping that 1% of people who do get back to you will have information that is critical to the story, and unraveling, that information and then sort of following that trail. So really there's 2 prongs at that stage. Is you want to talk to as many people as possible, and you want to find as many documents as possible. Sometimes you get the documents from people, sometimes you get documents from public records requests, or kind of just digging around on the internet or on court records. But it really often just comes down to those 2 things. But yeah, so for me, it's not much different from other aspects of journalism in the sense that it still comes down to people. And the success of any story will come down to, who can you get to talk to you, and what can you get them to tell you. And a lot of it is kind of managing sources and managing people, and kind of how do I get them to trust me? What are their motivations for talking to me, and how can I sort of use my understanding of their motivations to explain to them why they should trust me. And I feel like the most successful investigative reporters often are the ones that are best at working with people. And it's a bit counterintuitive, because I think when you watch, or I guess when you just think of like great the cliche investigative reporters, you think of someone just like banging on the door with like, hey, you should tell me this, blah, blah, blah. And you think of sort of this like really kind of this bulldog attitude, and kind of force people to tell you things. And there are some reporters like that, and it works for them. But for me, what I've often found is kind of the most successful way to do the job is sort of just to apply your people skills and talk to people and explain to them why it's in their interest to talk to you, or in the world's interest to talk to you. And sort of just following that trail. And you sort of start with this big, wide circle of here's all the ways the story can go. And as you talk to more people and read more documents, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you eventually get to the kind of core of it. And this is like the gem that you'll be revealing.
Nice. Okay.
Sounds like a long process.
Well, you want to earn my trust, just give me a 12-pack of beer and I'll tell you everything about that guy. Right there.
That's what every journalist loves to hear.
Right. I will roll over so fast.
So, I mean, all these articles that you had mentioned all these subjects, they all seem to revolve around one thing, that it really seems humanitarianism. That, what you've been talking to, is that really your focus when it comes to writing these articles, or are you more just a general and you'll follow what bites?
Yeah, I think you put it well. I think that is my focus. I think I found that the best way to reach people and get people to respond to an injustice or an outrage is to present the humanity of it. Even if the story is based on, these documents or kind of this corporate wrongdoing or whatever, at the end of the day, people will respond to seeing other people suffering. I think I have the benefit of, being able to get to that bottom level to where, it's where if you can get to the human level at the bottom, you can sort of transcend all of the sort of political preconceptions people might have, right? So there might be people that believe in, tough on crime policies and have a very punitive mindset in terms of how the criminal justice system would work. But then you present them with a story of someone who's been wrongfully convicted for reasons A, B, and C, and even they will be like, oh yeah, that's messed up. We can't have that. And to me, the way to sort of bridge the gap between people who disagree is to give sort of real human examples on the ground of what's actually happening to people and their experiences.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most effective way to do it is you humanize people.
You get them in the fields.
Yeah.
You got to get them in the fields,
right
man.
In
right in the fields. If I read an article and I get pissed, it got me.
Yeah, just right there in that one field that you got.
My one field, which is rage.
So being a journalist and being a writer yourself, you came out with the book, Never Ran, Never Will. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is something I'm very proud of. It was my first book and came out a couple years ago. The story is about a group of preteens in Brooklyn who play on the youth football team in Brooklyn. And I think a lot of people coming into the story sort of expect a sort of cliche story of, sports saving inner city youth from troubles. And what I wanted to tell was sort of the insidious nature of that premise, right? I think people come into the story expecting this story of inspiration, and there is some inspiration there. But what I want to do was to explore this idea that for a lot of kids in the country, the way for them, the clearest path with the most resources offered to them for upward mobility is to play this very dangerous sport that we now know has long-term consequences.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Down the line, right? Like they're not, there aren't high school and college scouts going down to the music rooms of middle school to see who the best piano players are, trumpet players are. But they're going to the basketball courts, they're going to the football fields, So for a lot of kids, it's not like there's much of a choice, right? Our society incentivizes sports, particularly football. Football is, we put more investment in football than any other sport for a lot of reasons. Because it makes a lot of money, because there's a lot of, bodies required to fill a football team. I played football in high school and college, so that was always very close to my heart. And in recent years, me and my friends and my former teammates, we would talk amongst ourselves about this question of, would you let your kids play football? And I found that my answers would grow from being like, yes, of course, it taught me so many lessons, to being more and more and more hesitant about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, I had the luxury, I quit after 2 years when I realized I wasn't going to play in the NFL. And I had the luxury to do that. I was like, okay, I have other passions, I have other interests. I'm on an academic scholarship, not an athletic scholarship, so it's not a big deal. And so part of sort of this exploration in the story was me trying to figure out what is the role of football in society, and what does this say about our society that we continue to invest so much in the sport and providing it as sort of the one lane for so many kids to rise. So I essentially spent 3 years of my life following these kids and this team. And one of the challenges I found was, the outcomes of Pop Warner football games are not particularly dramatic. The stakes of those games aren't as high as I mean, even in Friday Night Lights, right? It's like, the whole premise is built around, well, are they going to win state or are they not going to win state? And with my story, I'm like, well, no one really cares who wins the Pop Warner Football Championship, right? And so many sports narratives, like every sports movie is built around, are they going to like win the game at the end?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember me and my editor talking about it, how do we use this to our advantage, right? And in a way, it's freeing when the games don't really matter as much as stuff happening off the field. So I was able to just use the games as like kind of a window into the character development, a window into what football says about society and kind of the violence intrinsic to it, and also kind of the lessons you get from it and kind of the virtues of toughness and all this. And I kind of wanted to use football as this metaphor for gentrification and for sort of the progress that we've made in a lot of cities over the last 30 years since crime rates were higher. This idea that in many ways, it's a good thing that we now have all this new understanding of football. We now know about these brain injuries, and the cost of that is a lot of kids aren't playing, and a lot of parents aren't letting them play, and a lot of teams are no longer fielded. Right, there's a decline in youth football participation, and so there's a cost to this progress. Similarly, it's a great thing that crime rates in most cities across America have gone down over the last 30 years. But this progress brings a cost, which is that a lot of people who used to be scared to live in big cities began moving in because it was no longer so scary. And so the people that had seen the tough times and helped the community rise past the tough times suddenly see the rents going up and are suddenly being forced to leave that city. So I wanted to explore this cost of progress and sort of use football as a metaphor for that.
All right. I like that idea.
Yeah, it reminds me of that movie Concussion. I fail to remember the guy's name that Will Smith's character plays, the doctor.
The doctor,
who explores the whole CTE, phenomenon.
He blows it open.
And it's just people trying to cover it up.
Yep.
And they had, I believe it was that movie where they talked about the popularity of football and the reason for that. I mean, it predates us all the way back to the Roman days with the gladiators. It's blood sport. Man. It's violence that people are willing to pay to see. And with that comes a lot of money and a lot of revenue, which is attracting a lot of people who will forego the risk of injury, the risk of permanent brain damage just to make that buck.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of watching it. I love football.
Absolutely.
It's my favorite time of year. I don't know about this year.
I am
this
too,
year just
but
sucks,
I completely see your point is people feel that they're boxed into, they got to make certain decisions in their life because they don't have a lot of options. And one of them could be football because of the popularity, and they possess the skills, the athleticism, the stature, the physical ability to be able to perform that sport. And they see that as a way out.
Right. And the question is like, what replaces that, right? Like if we eliminate football from the face of the earth, will we replace it with like something else that will also give kids that opportunity, right? Like I remember I worked on a story on boxing once, and this boxing doctor once, he brought up this cliche of, go tell Muhammad Ali he would have been better off as a coal miner, right? Well, like that makes a lot of sense when your options are coal mining or boxing.
Yes.
Maybe he would have been better off as a doctor or a lawyer, but he didn't have it.
Well, if we replace football, I don't know if anybody, he's too young, but James Caan did a movie, Rollerball. Back in the day, a super violent roller derby type scoring thing, and it was like this huge worldwide sport or whatever. We'll probably replace it with something. If we lose one sport, we will create something else.
Yeah,
it'll be no pads, no helmet. Well, that's rugby. I just described. Never mind.
That's a whole different.
That's a whole different thing that the Australians are doing down there.
Well, I'll probably just be watching video games on ESPN.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah,
too.
esports. Yeah, that'll be the thing. Yep, esports.
So, Albert, are you working on any future projects in the moment? Are you working on another book, or do you have another big investigative piece coming out soon?
Yeah, I got all of the above. I got a couple investigations I'm kind of working on that got paused by pandemic reporting that I'm kind of diving back into. And yeah, I do have another book. I have a deadline in a month, which I hope to make. The book's called Conception. It's based on my family's immigration story from the Philippines. And hoping to sort of weave in a lot of sort of history of America and use my family story as a vehicle for exploring this idea of what happens when immigrant optimism crashes into American reality, and what we can learn from that. Though I'm still one of the beauties of writing is you can kind of you have one idea coming into it. And kind of the more hours you spend writing and reading and researching, the more the idea sort of morphs and changes. So I feel like anything I tell you now will be like totally different by the time I write it. The book comes out.
It's almost like a choose your own adventure thing.
There you go.
You
I
pick
just
one
love
decision
those.
at least that way, and you're thinking, oh, should I have done the other thing? With the,
I always cheated. I went ahead. I'm like, oh, I died. Go back.
That really is the book writing process, though. Is you're faced with like a million little decisions, and every decision you make, like in the Choose Your Own Adventure books, will lead you down a different path. And then
Right.
the part that's hard about writing a book is you'll get like 70 decisions in, and you'll be like, oh shit, like that first decision is actually wrong. I got to start over and write these 70 pages again.
Oh, man.
I just went through the swamp and got eaten by an alligator.
Yeah, shit. I got to go back now.
Reverse.
Quit
Back
making
up.
terrible decisions.
So, Albert, just real quick before we go, we have to settle this. What is your view on raisins? Do you like raisins or do you not?
Whenever I like get a box of raisins, like the first couple of raisins I'm pretty excited about. I'm like, oh man, this box is too small. I'm really into this. But probably like 7 to 8 raisins in, I'm good.
Thank you. They suck.
Well, okay.
Raisins are trash.
He's kind of on my side. I love raisins.
Not really.
That's been the whole debate. That's been
This
the main
whole
focus
episode, when
of
you
this
listen, we've
episode.
been debating
It's just-
whether or not raisins are even worth putting into boxes.
We asked our last guy.
I will say that
we
I
asked the
think
audience,
raisins are the most overrated of the dried fruits. You know what I mean? Like
Thank you.
raisins are like the most well-known dried fruit. But if you're ranking them, they're like definitely below like dried apples, dried mangoes, dried,
Okay.
apricots. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing next to that is at the end of the banana, that tip, Satan's anus down there. That's all like rotten. I'm talking about that. That's the next thing that I can compare to raisins. So they're just,
Oh my
I
God.
can't stand them. Thank you.
Jesus. Well, thank you for your input there. I
You're
appreciate it
welcome.
because I'm going to take him as a win in my column because he at least eats raisins. So I'll take it. But anyway, thank you so much, Albert, for joining us. We really
Yes.
appreciate it, taking your time out of writing your next book, which can't be just a walk in the park. That's
No.
got to be a lot of work put into that. But so we appreciate you joining us. So where can people find you?
They can find me at my website's just like albertsamaha.com. Though our PR people would say that you should also go to like buzzfeednews.com/Albert Samaha to find my work. Or you can just Google my name like normal people.
Just like normal people.
Like normal people.
Just like normal.
We're not normal. But
We're not in any way
anyway.
normal.
Well, thank you so much, Albert. We really appreciate you being on the show. And everybody else, just hang in there real quick. We're going on a quick break, and we'll be right back with you. Guys, it's your buddy Kyle here, and I'm excited to announce that it's time for another epic giveaway. We've received so much positive feedback on our last one that we decided to do it again. This time we are upping our game. The grand prize will include Adulting is Hard merchandise, including a sweatshirt, t-shirt, bumper stickers, coffee mug, and a $50 Amazon gift card, plus a personalized shout out on the upcoming episode. It's very easy to enter. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and share to one of our pages, either on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and you'll automatically be entered to win. Does this sound too good to be true? Well, I got news for you. It ain't. This is our way of saying thank you to everybody for the support we have received over the months that we've been doing this. So what are you waiting for? Let's make this happen. Can you imagine the end of football?
The end of it, end of times.
Yeah,
basically.
just football disappears, as Albert was saying, just disappears off the face of the earth. Football is gone.
I don't know what I'd
What
do.
would Raisin take its spot? UFC?
Cornhole.
Cornhole.
The
Yes.
game, yeah. If you don't know what that is, Google it. And I'm not telling you to Google it because it's gross or anything.
But you're using like maybe a bean bag with spikes coming out and shit,
yes,
and you're like throwing
small
it out
amounts
the
of
other
explosives.
Yes, you're fighting somebody for that bean bag, so you're like beating the shit out of them, and then you get the bean bag and then you throw it.
There you go.
Maybe that's
extreme cornhole, which again sounds really graphic.
Well, welcome back, guys, from the break. I hope you enjoyed that Albert interview. That was
great.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Investigative journalist.
As long as it doesn't investigate us.
Well, you won't find any tax fraud because we have that box that says "not porn" over there full of
With
tax
all of our
receipts.
receipts in it.
So we're clean. I mean, I don't see anything that we could.
We can't claim
for.
taxes yet on a business that has made $0. I don't know how that works. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't.
Hemorrhaging money over
Yeah,
here,
just
like a gunshot wound.
like a gunshot wound to the upper leg right here. Just hemorrhaging money.
Oh shit. But anyway, guys, so our next segment that we have coming up for you, we haven't done this in a while.
No. At least,
but we've had plenty of comments, plenty of feedback in the last few months. Yeah. So we actually handpicked all the pleasant ones, so all the bad ones didn't get filtered out.
All the ones that told us to eat a dick. And,
which I think those outweigh the good ones. There's so many more.
There's so many more.
But we didn't choose them because we want to make ourselves
People are
look good.
terrible human beings. Thanks.
So anyway, guys, we have the mailbag. We are bringing that back just because we wanted to read these out for you and just say thank you so much. And we appreciate all the support that we've been.
Any support's good. Positive, negative. Makes me just second guess my life choices.
I appreciate positive more.
Yeah, I really
than
like
I appreciate negative.
Makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
When it's negative, I just GG, bro.
As I rub my nips.
You really are rubbing your nips. Now they look like they can cut glass.
They can, actually.
Oh wow, you got like D cups over there.
No, not that big. Jesus, dude.
Yeah, they are.
I don't even know I don't know how to size boobs. I just know small, medium,
big.
Do you
have, when you take your shirt off and you walk outside, can you tell
people whistle, woo, titties?
No, can you see it? Do you know the time of day? Like
From
a
the
sundial?
I just wave them back and forth. People throw dollar bills at them.
Dollar bills, yeah. Anyway, so our first one that we're going to read is from Robbie, Boston, Massachusetts. Robbie says, I really love the segment of Things Ken Hates. You know, that's a reoccurring thing.
That is.
Many people have said that.
That is, yes.
I don't understand why.
I don't
understand why. So then he asked, when are you bringing it back? I'm pretty sure. We don't have the segment titled that, but we talk about it every episode. Is pretty much just one giant.
Yeah, it probably makes me seem like I'm just a big hateful asshole.
You are.
But I'm not. I really am a very.
You really are, though.
I enjoy the certain things. I hate raisins. Okay,
yeah,
we discussed that today.
You're a hater.
Raisins are ass.
No.
Yes.
We're going to have to end this because we will never agree on raisins.
No, because I won the argument. They're ass. Everybody agreed.
You can't win an argument by saying they're ass.
Yes, that's how you win. You go, they're ass, and you walk off. Middle fingers in the air.
Just
rabble. But thank you, Robbie. We will either make it a segment or we'll just continue doing what we do, which is Kyle mentions something, I hate it. And then we go on a tangent about it.
As I said, pretty much the show should just be called Things Ken Hates. Because it
could be.
It's 2 hours of just Ken ranting.
Maybe we'll have a spin-off podcast of that. We're already talking spin-offs, like we're syndicated or something. Shit. Thanks, Robbie. Thanks for listening.
And then we have Brian from Santa Maria, California.
Hometown.
Our hometown. Who left a pretty awesome review on our Facebook page. You can actually go read it right now. It's on there. It's the only review. Assholes. People send us messages, but they don't put like the reviews. I don't know why.
But we are 5 stars out of 5 on our reviews right now.
We literally are. But Brian said, worked with these guys over a decade ago. They used to share hilarious stories and were fun to be around. So discovering this podcast, I knew it would be great. Favorite segment is Things Ken Hates. See, there it is again. So check it out already.
Jeez, I didn't know I could pull the fans.
With your hatred.
With my hatred.
Say, the saying goes, you catch more bees with honey than vinegar.
Yeah, but with a flamethrower, you can get rid of
them. That's my point. And then Nerdy Noob. Noob. We know who you are.
We know who you are, Noob.
Over on Twitter said, y'all motherfuckers need to go check out the Adulting is Hard podcast. Several ways to listen. Ken and Kyle are fucking killing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ken is just killing me.
I'm just
little by little every single time.
My beard gets grayer every time.
A piece of me dies every time I come here.
A piece of you dies.
These are these are precious moments I can never get back in my life.
No, but yeah, we get together a couple times a month and we do this.
I still don't have a reason why, like an explanation. Why
day
do
drinking.
Okay, that's pretty good.
We get to get
Because I
fucked
don't
up.
do it at my house.
Huh?
I don't do it at my house. I just do it here.
Well, you have to drink to do this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we can get through any material without it.
Involving alcohol.
This is my life. This is my life.
Enjoy the shit out of it.
And then Mike Giardi, the one we interviewed from the
Yes.
NFL Network, wrote a kind response.
Take that other podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Suck on
He
that.
said, I had fun doing this podcast with these guys. They better remember me down the line.
Oh, we will, Mike.
We will.
We will.
Mike, we will have you back on, hopefully, at some point during the season or
Yes.
towards the end of the season, have you back on and we'll
The
talk
state
some
of the
more
game.
about
We'll do
it.
the state of the game.
Yeah, because, as a lot of teams are putting out whether they're going to have fans, how many fans they're
Are
going
they
to
gonna,
have.
they're gonna have those creepy
So there's-
silhouette fans? That creeps me out. I'm gonna
Oh,
say that
like,
right now.
like
and-
the MLB does
yes,
behind home plate?
Yeah, they're just people. They're cutouts.
Did you see the
It looks
one
like a
where they
video
had-
game. Yeah, Bernie.
Bernie, yeah.
Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. That was
Weekend
the
at
best
Bernie's,
one.
yeah.
Somebody there goes, you know what? I'm done doing this right now, and they went and spent the money on a Weekend at Bernie's freaking cutout.
great.
But we'll talk to him
Just
again.
a dead
That
guy
was a great
sitting in the
interview.
chair behind home plate. It's epic. And then the last comment we are going to mention, and we need to because this guy won the epic giveaway.
Yes.
Alex from Bakersfield. Thank you for
Bako.
writing us in. And the reason he won, well, the winning message, I guess, he said, everybody should give these guys a listen. I'm retweeting and subscribing, hoping to win the epic giveaway.
Yes.
Well, got
And
news
I'll-
for you, Alex. You did.
You did, and we
You won
announced it earlier in the pregame. You did.
Yep. We
Yep,
announced
so
it in the
contact
pregame.
us.
Make sure you get a hold of us, and we will get that shit out to you. But once you get it, we want to see it on Twitter. You wearing our garb and rocking
Post
out
those
the
pictures of that swag.
Exactly.
Swag, dude. Clout and
Exactly.
swag's
Get it in.
what we're all about here.
Because as Ken said, somebody's going to ask you what it's all about.
Yep.
And you'd be like, bruh, I don't even know.
Bro, you don't even
I just
know.
can't even right now.
You don't even know. You got to listen.
I just can't even with you right
Yeah,
now.
these guys are the driving force of common sense. Okay, right?
As you say it sarcastically, right?
Yes. If you didn't catch that sarcasm, you're dull. But we want to thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate that.
Yeah, so that's why we decided to pull those 5 out and read them to you guys because we do appreciate the comments and everybody listening.
Yes.
We are beyond grateful for all the support that
Actually,
we've gotten. That's why,
Pretty humbled to be doing
Yeah.
this. I mean,
yeah, and that's why we're doing the second giveaway. Because we want to give back to the community. We want to give back to everybody who's helped us out so far. And so make sure you like, subscribe, and share on either Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and you get automatically entered for a chance to win that stuff.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. That's why it's the epic giveaway.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I see what you did there.
You saw it.
I finally caught that.
seen it?
I seen it.
You seen it?
I seen it. I finally caught on to that. Shit.
All right. So our final segment, as you all know,
My favorite.
before I spoil a surprise, Logan, what do we got today?
Florida Man.
Exactly. It is Florida Man time. I know it is all of your favorites.
The state
I
that
mean-
keeps on giving.
Florida should be its own country.
Yes.
It should be like the bird would be like a bag of cocaine
Yes.
with wings. And then maybe the flower. Oh, the flower's definitely got to be opiate.
poppy.
The poppy flower.
Poppy. Yep.
Or
bath salts, if there's a flower for bath salts.
yeah, whatever, maybe. I don't fucking know. I'm kind of drunk here. So give me a break, guys. Stop
Kind
yelling
of
at me.
drunk.
Stop yelling at me. We've had a lot of drinks. Blah, blah, blah. Meh, meh, meh. Okay, so this article is
yes.
being brought to you by St. Petersburg, Florida. All right, guys. So I am sorry for anybody in St. Petersburg who this does not represent. However, everybody who does not live in St. Petersburg thinks it does represent you. So,
I'm pretty sure they agree that this guy runs amok in their neighborhood.
No, they're like, that's pretty common here.
Yeah.
Anyway, today's article, the headliner, this grabbed us. So we were looking for our Florida Man article, and all we did was type in Florida Man sex arrested.
Yes.
And the first one that popped up grabbed our attention because it said, Florida man arrested for having sex with stuffed Olaf at Target. Yes, the same
Let
snowman
it go.
Olaf.
Let it go.
Come on in, come on in. Yes, that Olaf from Frozen. That is
He looks like a
fucking disgust-
stuffed toy molester.
So,
I'm sorry. Just look at this guy.
This guy does
Ugh.
deserve to be on the sex offenders list.
Yes.
So, Anyway, St. Petersburg, Florida. A Florida man was arrested Tuesday after being caught having sex with a stuffed animal inside of Target. Target, I love you, but I am never buying a stuffed animal from you
I'm going to check it for the size that are kind of like crusty.
I'm also going to run an STD test on those stuffed animals.
It's got herpes.
So witnesses told police they saw Cody Meter, 20, take a large Olaf from Frozen off the store's shelves at St. Petersburg location and began to dry hump the toy.
Just hammering it right there in aisle 12.
Just going to town.
Just going to town. You like that, Olaf? You like that?
So first question, what was he on?
Bath salts.
Obviously.
Yep.
Did he have a pill? Well, he was 20. He doesn't need a pill.
No, he doesn't need boner pills.
Was there anybody around? Or did somebody catch him by walking down the aisle?
I'm going to say this guy doesn't give a shit if people are around or not. He's just going to hammer away on it.
He couldn't have been sober, right?
Well, other than the bath salts.
Nobody sober does this.
No, well, it's
I
Florida.
do it sober, but it's in my own room.
It's Florida.
And it's not an Olaf toy. It's a Lion King toy.
Simba, you my bitch.
No, it's Simone or whatever the fuck that.
The warthog?
Those things are hot. I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that. I just can't even with you right now. Anyway, the police report claims Meter ejaculated on Olaf doll and put it back on the shelf before he, quote, selected a large unicorn stuffed animal, end quote, and began to have sex with that object as well.
I'm going to stop right there. They give this guy props for blowing a load. Okay, I'm sorry to say it that crude. And then going right to the next one.
Well,
I mean, when you're 20, you could do that.
The one thing that makes me a little disturbed about it is we have a unicorn poster.
Yes, and I wouldn't.
For anybody who's watched the live pregame show,
yeah.
No, that unicorn is beautiful. By the way,
ass though.
Dead ass though.
Dead ass.
Dead ass though. But our unicorn is our inspiration, and I would never defile it like that.
No, it inspires us to greatness.
Well, Avi.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be non-greatness.
No, what we do is great.
And what's great is us.
Is us. That should be a quote.
Whisper again.
Whisper.
Whisper, whisper.
Whisper, whisper.
Anyway, Meter was taken into custody while in the store and admitted to doing, quote, stupid stuff.
Sorry, jerked off on that Olaf.
Yeah, I don't know if you consider that stupid stuff or disgusting, disturbing, and slightly...
fucked up.
I mean, that's the better word that I had. But stupid stuff's a way to put it, I guess.
I guess if you're trying to minimize it for the criminal charge, but...
It's like, I was just being stupid. Boys will be boys, right?
Boys will be boys, right? I'm just going to jerk on an Olaf.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at Olaf, not that hot.
Yeah, I mean, he is snow. It's cold.
No, not that hot.
You stick your ding-dong in that, I'm pretty sure you're going to get frostbite.
I just can't imagine walking through the Target going... Come
that
on, guys, let's go look at some toys. And you turn around the corner, and some guy's just...
Or you go to pick up that Olaftawold, and you're like,
why is it crusty, bro? Like somebody's sock in a teenager's room. That's just fucked up.
You got me coughing over here. It's fucking nasty.
Don't cough. That's a domestic terrorism charge.
Oh, yeah, now
fucking
it is.
COVID.
The Olaf... So, Target ended up taking the Olaf and the unicorn stuffed animals, removing them from the shelves and destroying them. The Smoking Gun reports. So how did they destroy them? Did they just throw them in the trash can?
Probably. I highly doubt they burned them.
I would.
Oh, yeah.
You have to burn those things.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure they just threw them in the compactor. That's
plus you don't want that DNA getting into anybody because that is some...
when you look at the guy, he looks like Hep C.
I think that gene pool needs a little bleach. I'm just saying.
A ton of bleach to the gene pool.
I'm just saying.
Fucking Florida, man.
Florida,
I love
you. You are amazing, but I will never willingly go there.
No.
I mean, I have a lot of family in Florida, and
people go to die.
Well, that's true, or get eaten by alligators, or use a lot of bath salts.
Yes. So if we ever decided we want to do a lot of bath salts, we just go there, get butt naked, do bath salts, and run across.
Or if you want to do your sister.
That's true. Yeah, that's another one. It's in the South. Sorry, South. Not sorry. Sorry,
not sorry. Hashtag suck it.
New hashtag trend, suck it.
Well, anyway, guys, that's going to wrap us up for episode 11. Yes, that's right. Fucking 11
episodes, man.
And people sat here and listened to us the entire time.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, it's crazier than us.
Is it?
I mean, we just sit here and talk anyway. All we did was press record.
That's the difference. That's it.
That's the difference. And people willingly sit here and talk to us.
Yep. They must be on bass holes.
I don't know. They must be from Florida. Anyway, guys, so just to recap, make sure you are entered into that epic giveaway that we have going on. All you have to do.
Retweet, sub.
Right? Well, no, right.
Not right.
Not right.
No.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Edit.
Back up. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and share any of our content, any of our videos, any of our posts, and you are automatically entered into that giveaway, which we will be doing very shortly here. So if you win that epic shit, which is going to be awesome. I know we're going to have our own, as soon as we get it done, which should be relatively soon, that merchandise line, we're going to have a lot of stuff ordered for us. And so we're hoping to get that out to you really soon too. We're going to have it really cheap. And for a limited time, the first 100 customers, if you enter the promo code adulting, you will get 10% off plus free shipping. What more could you possibly ask for us? We're already giving you tons of free content.
Yes.
What more could you ask from us?
I'm giving you myself.
Well.
And that's worth a lot.
I'll throw that away. I don't want that. Even if it's free, I will pay to not I will pay to not have that. Anyway, guys, we're about to sign off, but just to let you know, as always, adulting is hard. We all know that. That is why we are here to make it a little easier on you.
Or worse.
Just don't take any of our advice because we don't adult very well. Anyway, guys, that's it from us for episode 11. We will be back with episode 12 shortly. Stay tuned. Make sure you get entered into that drawing. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Acast, Spotify, all those awesome platforms. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, and like. You will be entered into that giveaway. Make sure you stick by. And as always, adulting is hard. That's why we're here for you.